Hello, good evening, and welcome to Mayday Roleplay. Thank you for joining us at a more nocturnal hour as we continue to view Giva Queen's Atrocity Exhibition, a published module for KULT Divinity Lost. But before we get into our final festivities for this evening, some things to mention and cover. We'd like to thank our handler-level Patreon contributors. Their involvement allows us here at Mayday to continue to produce and tell stories for your viewing pleasure. So thank you, Adrian K, OG Pan, Bimble Ward, Cameron S, Eric A, Jonathan M, Ren, WTF, and Alex Johnson. If you too would like to contribute to all that is Mayday, be sure to find us on Patreon. You'll get access to early releases, art, and our Discord server built around our wonderful community there. If this is your first time at the Atrocity Exhibition and you need to catch up or want to view our catalog of completed seasons and shows like Tales from the Loop or Vegas by Night, subscribe to our YouTube channel for our VODs or Spotify and SoundCloud for podcast-friendly recordings. And as always, follow us on all major social media platforms and our website for updates on future content and other news. KULT Divinity Lost is a horror game, and this actual play is intended for mature audiences. Be advised there may be violent themes, adult language, and the exploration of darker subjects. Please take care of yourself and be aware. Things to look out for are body horror, blood and gore, eyes, corpses, the disappearance of people, religious iconography, acts of mass violence, and death. Safety tools are used at our table, and X card can be employed at any time. And unless we have anything, unless we have anything else to say, to talk about, no? All right, let's get started. Consequences must be accepted. There is no choice in the matter. All things are paid their due. Because there is a certain point, once awakened, you start to realize this was all a part of the grand design. You were meant to stumble, find the things you weren't supposed to, make deals to quell fears, impertinent to the idea that what grows inside you is just something meant to be sacrificed on the altars of old gods. There is no amount of truth, no amount of action, no amount of consequence or acceptance that will change what you deserve for being awake. In the hearth of the Cecil Throne Art Center, held by the scruff of his jacket, a corpse drags the living. He sobs and begs against his actions, listing the myriad of things to appeal to the humanity of this being who does not hear him. Entering the main floor, the newfound being that was once the body of Alano Toset labors hellishly to complete his work. The corpse drops the man at his feet, and Toset cranes to inspect the material with gouged out eyes that drip with black ichor as one of its limbs scoops them up, cracking them open and dispensing the insides amongst paint pots fashioned from discarded bodies. Once satisfied, he dips his paintbrush and stirs gently. He returns to where he left off, painting a sigil on the floor. The details is tedious, but he remains focused and continues as the 8 paintings and the triptych of the Atrocity Exhibition hang above. Welcome back. Jesus. Maybe. Why don't we quickly go around the table, introduce ourselves, our characters, and whatnot. Starting with Lev.
And whatnot.
Hey, I'm Lev. I am playing your resident. What was the word? I lost it. I had a quippy one-liner that I was going to say, and I'm called Dubois.
I'm Amanda, and I am playing Dr. Isadora Swan. Not the one. Swan.
There you go. I'm Caleb James Miller. This is Vince, and I'll be playing Hugh Letho today.
I'm Sergio, and I don't know who this is. There's just a person behind me silhouetted, but I am playing not Caleb Throne, Cecil Throne.
You're doing great today, gang.
My name is Zach, and there's nobody behind me yet. I play M.I.N.T.
And I'm Eli.
Oh, we lost him, man.
We lost Amanda.
Guns and giggles.
I'm Eli. I will be your storyteller for today. Some housekeeping. Let's keep this happy momentum going. We have some general housekeeping to do. Let's start with our two folks that need to start roles at the top of our session for their curses, for their shenanigans. Caleb, Sergio, let everybody know how you guys are going to be doing today.
Well, at the start of every session, I roll to see how condemned I am, and I rolled a 16, which is very good, so I'm not condemned at all. Gonna make it out. And then I rolled for 6th sense, and I have 2 options for my 6th sense. So I rolled a 12.
Good news. Thank you for you, Caleb.
So for condemned, I rolled a 6, meaning that I have this many to live.
That's only
After
4.
4 X's, I'm dead, folks. And for academic, I have 3 options. God knows what the fuck that's gonna do for me, but they're there.
Who knows?
And that's and I'm not cursed this session, thank God.
God, yes, cursed but not cursed. It's fine. Nah,
we're good.
At the start of every session, we go quickly around and temperature check our relationships. Some of us got to break off into smaller groups and got to really get to the core of some of this exhibition. So who wants to go first? Who is adding to any of their NPC or PC relationships? Who's subtracting from it? How are we feeling?
I can go first. I'm adding to M.I.N.T because I said that we're going on a date in France and they got flustered.
Homophobic.
Easy.
Homophobic. Beautiful. Simple, to the point. We love it. Who's next? M.I.N.T, do you reciprocate? Do you got other feelings towards other people?
I was gonna say, can we add one to Vaqueen? Or to at least baby Vaqueen?
That queen was not technically people on your list of relationships, so this is more centered around your PCs and NPCs.
Okay, then I would say Cole, yeah, because on account of the making a date in hell.
Okay.
Gotta take the chances when they come.
Beautiful. We love that.
I'm probably going to have to take a negative to Brahim Nasra, the Tunisian art dealer, because I tried to throw him to the crowd.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it didn't work. It went really well, but he stayed alive.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, others did step in to kind of help out, so that kind of helped Brahim in the end, but, choices.
I just don't think he's going to like me much anymore, so -1 to that.
I mean, it's a very short list of people who actually like you, Cecil. Isadora, how are we feeling? Who are we connecting with or retracting from?
Well, actually, we're going to go ahead and add one to Hugh because of the what happened with the courtyard in the eye storm of the arm or something, whatever he did.
Ah.
That was very good.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Is that everybody? Oh yeah, no, Hugh. Who are you feeling? Who are you not feeling? What's the haps?
I think I'm gonna add one to the doctor. Because she was sort of instrumental in like helping to persuade Caravaggio and our demon boy, I forget his name.
Vaqueen.
Vaqueen. So her help with Vaqueen and carting him over with the wine and everything. I think that whole moment was very special for Hugh. And while he's already connected with Cecil, and Cecil kind of pointed a gun at Caravaggio, it was a little easier to take the positive with the doctor there. So
Beautiful.
+1 to the good doctor.
Good.
The doctor is in.
Doctor is in fashion, in season. Beautiful.
Doctor's in, baby.
All of you also did occur 3 extra points of experience. It is not enough for us to do any more additional advancements, but I do believe you guys learned a lesson or 2 last session, so I will give you the full amount.
So close.
So close, yet so far.
Wait, can I have I have a question?
Sure.
Since it was like my birthday, can we get a point?
We'd have to right now figure out what we're gonna do with all 5 of them.
We could just automatically
I will say, because it's your birthday, that you will have one special move that you can use to get through this.
What
at
a
any
kind and
time.
benevolent handler.
The precedents we are setting will be
Give
advantageous.
it to one of the most biggest chaos monsters
The
on
player.
the table. I love
You
it.
know what? I accept this because I know this will come back and bite me in some way in the future.
How could it possibly? Isadora, you're doing very well. You're of the most composed out of all of those at the gallery. So you guys, after choosing to let William Reeve and Brahim Nassar into your office space, after you managed to get past some goo with some quickness and some inner power, you guys ran towards the tunnels, the back service areas that make up this gallery, in hopes to get down to the vault. You're hoping to get to a friend, Mary Jensen, who's down there, and maybe just regroup in somewhere that you guys might find safer despite the fray that's slowly starting to taper around you. But as you got into that hallway and expecting staircases to lead you to your destination, you found yourselves intrigued by something above as well as something below. As you guys venture and investigate that and find yourselves in various parts of Europe, meeting and understanding parts of that queen's life that seems to be spilling out all around you. You guys speak with that queen, engage with them, and relatively sort some of what was going on with him. And once you found it satisfactory, you all decide to press on to hopefully reach your destination. And as you, Mint, and Cole kind of go through that doorway that leads out of that queen's childhood apartment, and as you, Isadora, and Hugh and Cecil, you guys kind of go through the darkness of further into the ruins of the gallery in Italy, you all come out on the other side in what feels like the heat of an expansive desert. It's dry, the wind is hot, and it wafts down all around you. And as you kind of come out of the tunnels or out the doorway, you see sand billows all around you, and when you look down at your feet, you see just warm sand kind of shifting with each step you take. The sunlight is harsh and it blazes ahead of you, and you are looking at sand dunes and scrub brush, and everything feels oddly quiet and peaceful in this moment, but you're somewhere even further than the parts of Italy, the parts of Paris that you were at. You're in this rural area. But as you guys come out, you all seem to kind of culminate together as if, you're all meant to diverge in one space and place. Cole and Mint, Vaqueen, the young Vaqueen who you were carrying with you, is not there with you as you guys are standing there. As you're now, you had him in your hands, but you look down and your hand's still kind of like clenched around like what it would be around someone's hand, but nothing there to support that. But you're all here.
I think Cecil was kind of like running, hoping that, finding the way out was going to lead somewhere. It leads somewhere completely different. I think he stops and like pants and like looks out and turns, sees the other three, doesn't even give them a formal hello. And he's like, you know what? Screw Mary Jensen. God damn it. Where the hell are we? I'm just looking around.
I'm going to turn around. Is there everywhere all around, like everything is now just sand dunes? 360.
Yeah.
Up. Anything weird, like up, down? It's just sand dunes.
It's sand dunes and sky. I mean, like everything around you looks pretty like desolate. Like you're in the middle of just a vast kind of desert.
Anybody recognize where we are?
Sure.
How similar is this to the painting that Queen made of that man climbing the sand dune?
It looks very familiar.
Do I feel like I'm like almost 1-to-1?
Yeah, you kind of recognize as you kind of notice some of the way the dunes slope and stuff like that it resembles much of the painting as you're kind of trying to string together images and correlations. It feels something like that.
Eli? I'd like to, because that is true with the painting, I would like to observe the situation, especially around particularly sand dunes, where that body or the man would possibly be. Like, because if it was on like the slope, I'm going to specifically try to look for like slopes to see if I can find like that image.
Roll me observe the situation. Does anybody else want to be looking around, investigating, sussing out where you might be here?
I would like to.
I think Hugh is.
I think Cole is gonna start like calling out in French for the Guy that we had with us. And I'd also like to use enhanced awareness as I look around.
Okay.
To see if I can see through the illusion.
Just roll that and hold that roll, and I'll call upon you in just a moment. Hugh, what did you want to do?
I was just saying that Hugh probably reaches down and picks up some of the sand, and looking towards Cecil's questioning, he goes, I think somehow we're walking through each of these paintings. Before we were in that hoarder's house, the same from the lovers, right? And here, you remember the nomad, him walking through the desert. I think we're walking through Vaqueen's paintings as memories.
This is bullshit. There's like 12 paintings.
No, it's actually, if you think about it, it's quite logical. I agree.
What's the point? We get to the end of the paintings and then, we're dead? Or we get to the end of the paintings and we find a way out?
I think we might still be in the middle of the ritual. If they needed us dead to achieve immortality, we may be trapped in that same room we left. I think all of this is an illusion until we're dead.
Or immortality is the end of the paintings.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure this leads right to everything being hunky-dory.
I think he just
What other options could there be?
He needs help.
I mean,
when M.I.N.T and I were in France, we kind of talked him down almost. And he came with us. He ran. He seemed, I don't know, cogent for a little bit. What if we just have to walk through his memories and give him what he needed? Maybe that can...
You saw
that
Queen too. We met him, but he was a drunk. He was a sprawling idiot, and we introduced him to Caravaggio of all people.
Wait.
But,
you met fucking Caravaggio?
Seemed to help him. Yes.
Wait.
He does not speak much English, but it was incredible. I mean, I must have tried to talk to him for as long as I could, pointing out every intricate detail, but nothing.
You met fucking Caravaggio.
Hugh. It was one body in the photo.
Yes, doctor.
It was one body in the photo, in the painting, correct?
In the Nomad, you mean the desert?
Yes.
I believe so. Just one person climbing the dunes.
Isadora, what did you roll for your observe the situation?
I rolled a 12, and I could ask one question.
Sure. What is the question?
So, what is being hidden from me?
Where's the dude?
Where is the dude?
Does the dude abide?
Where is he?
Abides.
Where is
he? What did you roll for your enhanced awareness?
Oh, because I get perception, right?
No, Cole, not you.
Oh, me. I'm so sorry. I was reading other things related to this. I got a 16.
Okay. And what grants you a 16?
On success, you have visions about the place and may even be able to speak to entities tied to it.
Isadora, you're scanning the sand dunes, and the first thing you clock is that kind of in the distance, you're starting to see what looks to be a sandstorm picking up and rushing and moving towards you guys at a rapid pace. And you can even start to feel the wind starting to pick up and kind of blow between your hair and against the sweat that's acclimating on your brow from this heat. And as you're kind of like scanning the dunes, trying to like photo match what you saw in the images, taking on what Hugh was mentioning about the connections between painting and real life. And you kind of notice this kind of dune that kind of matches that formation that was kind of painted and stroked by that queen. And as you're kind of seeing that, you're noticing in the distance that there seems to be structure there, what looks to be stone work, and that as the sand is starting to move, kind of displaces and it's starting to show. Cole, as you're just kind of also just standing there in the silence as everybody's trying to figure out what to do next, as Cecil's growing irritated and Isadora and Hugh are trying to figure out what this all might mean, you start to get flashes and images of what looks to be sand-weathered stone and an ornate fashioned mat and the sounding of chanting and prayer and a bone-looking knife and other artifacts that seem to be placed, and what looks to be that queen praying and rocking himself in a manic kind of state. And you see just kind of like the archway amongst like a sand dune as you kind of get snapped back immediately back to the heat of this dune.
Could I understand any of what he was chanting? Was it a language I knew?
But it felt familiar. It was not something that you could understand, but it felt familiar.
Like I'd heard it before?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll turn to everyone and say, we're looking for an archway and stones. There's a place of prayer somewhere out here. That's
Hugh?
where we'll find him. I think. Maybe.
Hugh,
Yes.
your arm.
What
Does
about
it-
it?
Does it sense any? And I'm gonna point into that general direction, especially where.
Or like a compass?
I just want to see if there's like a reaction. Like,
Yeah.
Monsters.
Eli, I'll put out that disgusting, now larger arm since he's used it. And I guess I'll try and observe the situation.
Yeah, roll me a dice.
Do I get
for that.
anything extra for using my big spooky arm?
I will say add your relationship modifier from Isadora, since she is the one enticing you to do this.
What do your horribly cursed eyes see?
oh yeah, baby.
Whew. Okay, I have a 19, so
Beautiful. That's what, 3
It's-
questions?
access there.
It's 2 questions. It's 2 questions plus
and
advantage
honestly,
on your next roll.
I think that I'm just trying to see what I can get out there. I'm not sure what questions I want to ask here.
Should we go towards or away?
Hold on.
from?
How about hold on to those questions? If you guys have intentions to move forward towards this
Okay.
structure that Isadora's clocked and Cole has stuff at Cole has also seen or has inclinations towards, and as you guys see this storm continuing to get closer and it's starting to like blow against you guys as you're feeling hot warm sand just like pelts on the back of your heads and off to your sides, you guys start heading towards this dune.
Yeah, if anything, it's just cover from the storm.
Yeah, try to get out of where you currently are.
It's a very expensive shirt. I don't want to get it ruined.
Is it not already ruined?
There's probably a lot of blood on it, yeah.
Yeah. It's a very expensive shirt.
I don't notice it until now. I'm like, God damn it.
Club soda and lemon.
Oh, I usually have my maid do that. I'll have to remember to tell them that.
Gee.
California.
Eventually, as you guys get closer to this dune, you do find that kind of painted archway of clay and stone, and it's you can't quite see further in. You would have to kind of go in further as there's no interior light, but the wind is picking up, and it seems the only cover for what seems to be miles. We're heading in.
Yeah, I'm pushing to head in there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys all clamor inside.
I'm still looking for doll supplies. I know everything is sand,
Sure.
but maybe there's a Joanne's. What exactly? I don't know if I'm... No, not see through the illusion.
Does anybody
That's-
have any light or anything they would like to help them see as you guys kind of clamber into this what just seems to be a little small alcove, which is enough to
Well,
shelter you guys from the sand, but it goes deeper.
As a lesbian, Isadora instantly pulls out a lighter.
Wow.
Okay.
Tracks.
Especially, so
The
at
flame
least I
is-
get a.
Flame is fighting to stay lit because the wind is still kind of whistling through this little alcove and kind of pushing, flickering it quiet. But if you go deeper in, it'll probably stabilize.
Is there? I'm gonna bring it up against the walls. Is there any mark?
Hmm.
Sure.
Let me see my environment.
Yeah, I mean, as you kind of start going a little bit further into the tunnel and you kind of start putting the flame up against the walls, you do notice that there are things carved and etched into the sides, what looks to be ruins, pieces of lettering, things that you don't necessarily have like specific knowledge on, but it seemed that it was intentionally put into the walls.
Cecil, Cecil,
What?
your shirt, how ruined is it?
It's ruined. Yes. What?
Okay, I'm gonna go and see if I can rip off a
No!
chunk of your shirt. Give me. I need. You have a white shirt. I need that really quick. Give me.
It's not white. It's a delightful light green.
Oh, even
Wait.
better. Yes.
I'm not even gonna put up with it. I'll let him do it.
I just want. The reason is I want to stretch it. And
If nothing
try to
else,
get,
it's just because I've been working out for a few months, so I have nice arms. So I just want to show them off.
They are very. Okay, I'm gonna ignore. Grab it. I'm gonna grab like those because there's sand everywhere. I want to see if I can get some of that on the lining. Like if I can actually see a little bit of the carving, like when you sketch a pencil up against.
Oh, you're using the dirt like to.
Yeah.
Yeah, like an impression.
Yes. I understand.
My art students, yes.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. You start to collect that data. You start to make impressions on the shirt, taking the time. Are you continuing to go further into the cave? Is anybody like Isadora's like not?
I'm going in.
Isadora's like doing research at this point while you guys are just standing here in this little alcove. Isadora is like ignoring the fact that like wherever you are, who knows, but sitting there taking impressions.
Yeah, I think we all realize this has nothing to do with why we're here, and I will at least pull out my cell phone and start moving deeper into the space.
Same.
Especially if Cole mentioned anything about seeing the queen, I think we're probably trying to look for him.
Yeah. I'll just say he was praying and there was a mat. I didn't really understand it, but I think I've heard it before. I don't know.
Okay.
Does it seem like there's anyone that might be following us? I know the wind isn't really making tracks happen, but like, does it seem like there's anything else that might be out here other than us?
I mean, you look out the little archway that you guys entered, but the sandstorm has picked up to the point where like you can't really see beyond a few feet. It's whistling hard. If there was something out there, it's trapped by the sandstorm. And who knows, like when you're in sandstorms like that, directions are weird. So the odds of something following you seem slim.
I think Hugh looks at M.I.N.T, seeing that they're looking for something out there, and he speaks up and says, "Do you see something in Paris? Something following?"
Not exactly. It just...
It was after him.
Yeah, it was, I mean, whatever the fuck that thing was that maybe was supposed to be his dad, but he was just already in the room when we got in the room. But it was a big...
Tall?
Like demon in a corner. And if we're going through phases of paintings or phases of his life, I think there's a demon at every stop. Or something scary.
There was something in ours. We were walking through the museum. There was something tall and spindly moving closer to us every time we looked away. Dressed like a local, but far too large to be one.
But you didn't see him show up. He was just there.
When he was getting too close, we left. We didn't want to stick around and find out when he catches us.
Let's just find this guy and get out of here. Get on to the next one.
Again, hand on wall, just walk deeper and deeper because it's getting darker, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hand on wall, keep walking.
With each step that you guys take, and Cecil's leading the pack with the light, the first thing you kind of smell is that like the room is the air around you is starting to grow a bit stagnant, but it also has like the hint of incense and also the lingering smell of rot as you guys get closer, and the even with the little bit of the cell phone light and the lighter that Isadora has to kind of flick on and off because it only stays illuminated for so long before it kind of extinguishes itself when she removes her hand from the trigger of it. But with each step, you guys get closer. And with that smell in mind and the voices that start to kind of get picked up as you hear kind of repeatedly over and over something being murmured in the distance, there's also another feeling there. Isadora and Hugh, you would kind of clock that feeling first, that feeling of impending dread, the sensation that the sensation you would get if you were like teetering on the edge of a cliff, knowing that there's nothing there to save you, and the only thing at the bottom of that cliff would be the end. You know, the feeling that you kind of been stowing away, Hugh, every single time you feel the pressure of what's growing on your arm reminds you of the inevitability of it. You're just on the edge of that hallway, and you could enter into whatever the next room is. But to do that, you have to really push through that feeling that seems to kind of wash over all of you. Do we move forward?
Hugh?
Yeah.
Can you grab my hand? And then I'm going to extend my hand out to Hugh, see if he'll take it.
Which hand?
Yeah.
Whichever he whatever he...
Sure. You're a little scared to move forward, I guess, and he's lying to himself, but he does reach out with his human hand, with part of him he thinks he is.
If he does, then I'm going to go ahead and move forward in.
Yeah. You feel fingers interlock between yours as Hugh accepts your request, and you two move past everyone and enter in. Is everybody else following, or are you guys standing on this precipice?
Could Cecil attempt to maybe hang back and maybe sneak in so that if attention is drawn to the group, he can maybe at least be in the shadows?
Sure, you can enter last. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not trying to do anything, Doctor. I'm just trying to keep us safe.
Okay.
Let's see. What do I roll? Act under pressure.
Act under pressure, since you're trying to be stealthy and not falling in line with what everybody else is doing. Mint, Cole, are you following behind Hugh and Isadora, who are now hand in hand walking into this ominous
I'll turn to Mint
feeling?
and go, want to hold my hand?
Oh my god, I knew you were gonna say that shit.
Look, I have to keep some level of normalcy, right?
For the symmetry of it all, sure.
Sure, for the symmetry of it all.
Yep. And they go forward.
Yep.
Cecil rolled a 15, so he succeeds.
15, yeah. All right. Then you get to do what you intended to do, Cecil.
Just sneaking through the shadows with my gun.
Eli, while I'm walking with Dr. Swan, I think he is gripping a lot harder than he expected to, because he's scared of that crevice, that precipice that you've set him on.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's trying to remind himself that if he truly is trapped in the paintings, if this truly is the ritual, then what he's experiencing right now is what the world wants him to. And so while he's doing that, I think he wants to reach down with his other arm, his eyed arm, and try and grace the ground. And I think he's trying to break the illusion.
Okay.
Can I make a break the illusion roll?
Yes, you may.
Awesome. I have a 16.
You reach your cursed arm out, and you kind of drag it along the floor. And what you're expecting is the precipice, that sinking feeling, that death that's on the horizon. You just realize it's just floor, and it kind of breaks that fear for a moment that you're not on the edge of a cliff. You're not going to die here. You are just crossing the align or the illusion or whatever is occupying and holding on to this space. And whatever it is that holds power here is associated with that sensational feeling, that lingering death, that thing that fuels you to fear it. That's what it is. Ultimately, that's what's in the illusion, is just the lingering power of something greater that occupies here. And you guys push past this feeling, and you enter into this cave, and it opens into a cavern-like temple, and you notice now that getting past this darkness and this wave of fear, that it's lightly lit with a shrew of candles all around, and there seems to be a silent congregation in lingering areas of what looks like those corpses that you guys have been kind of running up against, and they seem to be also participating in this chanting. And in the center of all of that is just a collection of tomes and parchments that kind of sit organized haphazardly into a circle, and at its center is Vaqueen, and he's crouched upon this old mildew-looked prayer mat, lost in chanting that he just kind of murmurs over to himself over and over again. He's right around him seems to be just a singlet ring of ruins that have been carved around him. And you even notice as the light kind of, you adjust to the light, that whatever those other corpses and stuff like that, every time they try to get a little bit closer towards Vaqueen, they brush up against that ruins, and it seems to be the thing that deters them away from him, as if it's protecting him. But Vaqueen is just sitting there, and as he's praying and stuff like that, before him is like several items. A rustic crown, a tarnished knife, a wand carved from bone, or a knife carved from bone, and a wand that is obsidian in color. And he does not seem to register you all at all. And he's preoccupied on continuing to pray amongst these items. Would you like to do anything?
I'm so sorry. Caleb, do you still have those 2 questions?
Yes, Caleb still has those 2 questions.
Yeah, I do.
Nice.
Not saying Adam telling you how to. I don't know if we have that. If not, because I was going to observe
it. I think it's totally the time to do it.
You said there was
pull up the little reference sheet here and see what we can ask.
There's like a force field around him.
He has ruins that are carved into the stone around him. Okay. And it seems in observation that these corpses, you've noticed that they've attacked you guys before and was relentless and single-minded when it came to brushing up against the living. But every time one seems to break off from the pack, they brush up against that ruins, and it seems to push them back away from in the same way that a electric fence protects cattle from wandering away. What were those questions, Hugh?
So, Eli, what can I use to my advantage here?
What you definitely can use to your advantage here is the fact that Vaqueen is preoccupied, and it seems to keep the calm of this room. And what you also can use to your advantage is that protection ring that has been mentioned. That seems to be a source of keeping Vaqueen where he's at, and keeping him unbothered by the other thing, the unnatural that is occupying around him.
Does there seem an obvious way to get to him, or is he surrounded by these zombies?
He's not completely surrounded. They're kind of just ebbing and flowing. They're just kind of walking through the darkness. You could easily walk up to Vaqueen, who's sitting there praying. Nothing seems to stop you. What was the second question, Caleb?
What is my best way through this? Would be my second one.
When you were in Italy, and the way you engaged with Vaqueen seemed like a good option. Engaging with him did something for you, and maybe that's enough to break the illusions that are held here. You also know that the best way...
So Cecil's just got to put the Glock to him.
Possibly. You also, way through this, you notice that of all of these encounters, this is the first time you've noticed specific ritual items that have been used, that are there. You also notice that there is where Vaqueen is sitting, down the way looks to be another tunnel and hallway. And you get the inclination that sometimes maybe the best course of action is no action at all.
That's true. I mean, at this point, we're just seeing him at different points in his life. What would be helpful is if somebody asked him, where did you learn this information? Is this where you learned it? It'd be nice to confirm if he was actually just looking for a way to live forever.
In that similar vein,
What he was trying to do.
Cole's been on their way to Vaqueen pretty much since we entered the room. I think I dropped M.I.N.T's hand so as not to drag them with me. And I think Cole's just trying to walk up as calmly as possible through the monsters and sit down next to him if I can.
To sit down and talk to Vaqueen?
I thought to get through the monsters I might have to roll something. I don't have to. I'm cool if I don't have to.
I think you're
going to, but now that you asked to roll,
I was gonna say
that's what I get.
Because you feel the need to prove yourself in this moment.
There we go. I don't need to. I don't need to. We know that I can walk through monsters, right?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Fuck. God damn it. All right, what am I rolling?
Act under pressure would be your roll plus your coolness.
That's coolness, all right. 16.
16. Yeah. All right, yeah.
This isn't the first time I've walked through your creepy temple.
Yeah. Despite seeing these corpses walking about you, they seem to pay you no mind as you cross through this small area in which Vaqueen is praying to, and you sit down across from him, and he is just head to the floor amongst this array, and you look at the papers and there's mentionings of texts and diagrams and things that he seemed to have been writing about and discussing, but you take his hand and he seems to stop for a moment in his manicness, and he kind of looks up to you, and he seems, you didn't realize that he had such really deep blue set eyes as he kind of does that, and it looks like he's about to well up and tear as he kind of scans your face, Cole, and he seems to murmur something to himself in French as he kind of smiles upon your image.
What does he say? Because I speak French.
You speak French?
Mm-hmm.
He kind of murmurs to himself that you look like an angel.
Aww.
And he seems settled in this moment as he's looking at you, despite the manicness of everything that's going on.
I think I'll say, I even have wings, and I'll kind of pull my jacket off just to show off my wing tattoos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with shaky hands, if you allow him, he'll kind of touch the top of your shoulder where the feathers are. As if, like a painter, like a sculptor, kind of taking in the art on you. Is there anything else you're doing here with him, as he seems receptive to what you're doing?
I think I'll just ask, what are you praying for? Who are you praying to?
When you ask what he's praying to, the smile starts to dim a little bit as the manicness starts to kind of creep back onto him. He looks down at the strew of papers that are kind of there. He mentions to you that, and then as he's kind of looking at both the crown and the wand and the knife, he continues in French a bit, mentioning that he is praying to who he serves, the one who will grant him immortality. Toragini is what he says. And he says her name over and over again. And this seems to be caught in a repetitiveness as he says that name over again, Toragini, Toragini, Toragini. And it causes him to just return back to the prayers as he feverishly continues on, as if he's taking too much time in this interaction.
Can I try to catch his chin and stop him from going full all the way down?
If you do that, he grabs your wrist with swiftness and with a lot of strength. He's squeezing hard on it.
It's okay. Why do you need to live forever? What does immortality give you that this life can't?
He doesn't answer you. He begins to murmur those prayers again to you, as if that is really what it is.
Is the prayer getting any more familiar? Is it an actual experience I've had? Does it remind me of where the temple I was in?
It kind of does. It remembers the time you spent in California. Yeah. And though a lot of that experience is lost to you, except for the moments that it pops and scrapes into your mind, you find the words that they're saying comforting and familiar, as if you have kind of heard them before. But he continues to go pray as he sits amongst those items, and he seems to return to ignoring you.
Can I pick up at least the papers and try and take them back to Hugh and Isadora?
Yeah. It doesn't seem an issue for you to remove the papers from the circle.
Okay.
But you bring them back to Hugh and to Isadora.
And I'll say, Torgnini, that's who he serves. That's who's going to make him immortal. I don't know what it means. The prayers sound familiar, but I don't know what it actually means. Maybe the papers can help. And I'll help and translate where I can, if it's in French. And I'll pass the papers off to those two.
I'm going to go ahead and, I got to investigate the actual paper. I want to actually investigate the actual papers.
Okay. Roll that dice. Cecil, M.I.N.T, are you guys doing anything here? How are you guys handling this stuff if you're watching? Vaqueen is back to his prayers, while Colin and Isadora and Hugh are discussing papers. There's still those artifacts and items. There's still the hallway in which maybe will lead you out. What would you like to do?
Go ahead, Min.
I'm thinking about the hallway. I think once Cole exited the circle, M.I.N.T is just slowly starting to go that way and say, we can look at these and walk, right? He's not going anywhere.
Cecil heard the name Togarini, and it sounds weird like another name that I know that Cecil knows, and I don't know. He feels tempted to say something. I think he says, "Hold on, quick, Cole, follow me back to him, and I'll try to lead them back to."
Okay,
Queen.
fine. What?
Ask him if he's heard any other names besides Togarini.
Okay. I'm gonna try for the gentle approach again because it worked the first time, and if it helps, I'll like shrug my jacket off and just like have the wings on display because maybe that'll be a little more, I don't know, angel-like and give him something to focus on. And I'll catch him when he's up from prayer or take his hands, whatever it takes to get his attention, and I'll ask what Cecil asked me to ask.
You're able to get his attention again as he kind of seems to round out the first bit of his prayer. And you ask if he knows any other names like
of gods or creatures or whatever it is.
As you ask that, something seems to come over Vaqueen as he averts his attention from you, Cole, and averts his attention to you, Cecil, as he's looking you like clear blank in the eyes. And he says that there is no power, no authority of yours here in the place of Toragini. And your time is coming up, Cecil Thorne. Your contract is due. And it seems to like snap away from him. And that queen just
probably in vain. I'm just like, well, then where do I find Thamiel? Where do I find where Thamiel is?
Doesn't seem to answer you.
Yeah, if he doesn't answer, then I just get frustrated. I probably kick him to the side and I drag Cole and said, let's get out of here.
There's no need to kick him.
You kicked Vaqueen?
Yeah, I'll probably just dismissively push him out of the way.
Okay.
Idiot.
Cole, Isadora, and Hugh. What are you, Isadora, what was that roll for your investigation?
I got an 11. That's because, 5 plus 6, that's 11. So I get to ask one question.
Sure.
But the information comes at a cost determined by you as acquiring someone or something for the answer, exposing yourself to danger or needing to expend extra time or resources. What will you do?
What was the question you want to ask?
Fuck, I'm gonna have to change the question, which is gonna be, what is my gut feeling about what I'm investigating?
Because Cole was kind of ripped away from you and you do not speak French, you can't quite place 100% what this is. It would require accurate translations. But what you were kind of getting pieced together with what Cole could tell you and what you're kind of looking at seems to be instructions, words, so how to do things. There's diagrams of what symbols and sigils should look like. Mm-hmm. So it might be the foundations of what Vaqueen has been building.
Like instructions.
Overall.
It's almost like
rituals. You just don't quite know what it says.
Cool. Oh, sorry. You?
Listen, I'm thinking, everyone, and when we were in the hallway, we mentioned it, as above, so below, and I'm thinking about it now. Traditionally, it's the transference between the laws of heaven to that of man, but it translates to everything. What is happening there happens across all planes. In essence, what this man is doing here is happening the same second that it happened to us on Earth. we can stop him from doing what he's doing here, I think we can stop what happened to us there.
We can stop the
might
ritual?
be able to go back if we can stop the ritual here.
I'm going to immediately draw the gun at Vaqueen.
Wait,
Whoa.
wait, the items.
Don't-
Stop.
And what's keeping the runes in the ground? It looks like they're painted on the ground.
Yeah.
Then Mint starts trying to interrupt the runes on the ground.
Okay. A lot going on here. Cecil, are you intending to harm that queen?
I will harm Vaqueen if I am convinced that it's the right thing to do. I probably draw the gun in his general direction. Mint starts moving towards the runes, and maybe I'm going to let them do that first. But if I'm thoroughly convinced, I will probably shoot at him.
Okay.
Listen, he controls this place, or something in his power does. So
makes total
whatever
sense.
we're doing to disrupt what this is, we need to be careful. He has more power here. I still stand by what I said, but it has to be done in a way that doesn't get us killed here.
Hugh, look, these are instructions. Look, these are instructions right here. If those items, was it a wand, knife, and what else was there?
Crown.
Crown.
So
Any of that in the painting?
we could find out what he's doing here if we can read these.
I can translate for you. We just have to make sure hot trigger finger over here isn't gonna kill him before we get a chance.
You start
We have
kicking.
to make sure that he doesn't finish those prayers either.
You start kicking dust. You just start kicking the dirt around the sigils, and it starts to cover it up as you kind of just take out two bits of it, just a little bit of the corner of this overall circle.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, there just feels like a rippling that kind of cascades sever this protection. And as you do that, all of the corpses around you start to react to that and kind of start to what was just mindless moving and murmuring chanting of aimlessness starts to just become aggressive growling. And they start to react and start to converge towards the center where that queen is. What are you doing?
I might have messed up. You
didn't think that was going to happen in the beginning?
I just wanted something to happen.
That was quite a move.
No, it's fine. Isn't this what we want? We want him to
We don't know what
die?
we want. We haven't read the instructions on the fucking ritual.
Thank you.
One of the bodies grabs onto that queen who was initially getting up from you kicking him to the ground, and it started to enrage him, and it almost seemed like he was going to go for you, Cecil, even though you were holding the gun to him. But as the first moment he stands up, he's immediately grabbed by one of those bodies. They bite into him and just starts to overall be torn apart by these bodies.
Time to go.
He needs to accept death. Maybe this works. We need to go take the items.
I was gonna say, dang it.
I
would like to go for the item.
Yeah.
Okay.
While I'm close by, I'll go for something.
Right. What item do you want to grab? There's the knife, the wand, and the crown.
I'll grab the bone knife. Or
Okay.
no, I want the crown. Because I've
had a bone knife. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
I'll take the crown and the wand.
Okay. And Isadora, you're grabbing the knife?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. In this manic fray, you're just all hearing the screams of that queen as the pile of corpses start to grab onto him, and as you're seeing him being just eaten alive, essentially. But you grab those items, and I'm assuming you are heading towards that hallway in the back.
Yeah.
Someone keep a light close to Cole Cole start translating what those papers say.
I'll need someone to hold the phone so I can hold the papers in one hand and my cane with the other.
Then I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys hear the echoing of the pain and the torment of that queen who is slowly succumbing to death. And you can even, Cole, hear the in between some of those screams as that queen catches you on the way out. He screams the word angel at you in French over and over, as eventually the more you go deeper, the less you hear, and you are succumbed by the darkness. And on the other end,
I think Cole is just like kind of silently crying. No one's really ever, I don't know, seen him in that light or as anything kind of holy even. So I think there's like a little bit of grief in like losing that.
I think that Cecil completely like misreads what Cole is feeling and is probably like, "Don't worry, kid. They're dying so that we stay alive."
You're muted.
Is that Cole goes to correct Cecil and then knows it's fully in vain and just starts translating and has their own little private grief for themselves.
you entered into the darkness of that tunnel, escaping whatever is behind you, because you do not know if once that queen has been consumed, if those things will come for you. But as you guys push into the darkness, eventually you are almost snapped, as if you opened a door, and now you are somewhere completely else. You seem to be on the inside of the entrance of a salon in a small villa. There's tiled rooms decorated with an array of art from renowned artists, Borscht, Caravaggio, and Dali. It leads to what seems to be an open-style studio with a kitchen and bedrooms and a study off the main room. And in the distance, if you look out the window, you can see what looks to be a cliffside that overlooks the Mediterranean Sea.
What's this one? Which one is this one?
It's the one we fucking needed. Are you kidding me? And M.I.N.T is crafting immediately. You guys figure it out. Whatever. I'm here. I'm doing this. And that's where they're at. They're going further into the studio.
I think that there's an extreme level of fear the second that Hugh lays eye on the Mediterranean. He says, we need to find out where we are, quick.
It's got to be sometime in like the 60s, right? If Dali's on the wall?
At least.
But where?
It's the Mediterranean. It could be Northern Africa. It could be Southern Europe. It could be Greece.
If you look around the house a little bit more, you do see architecture inspiration and furniture that is both Tunisian in fashion as well as French in fashion.
Damn, I wish we had Brahim with us.
Question. What is the sun out or is it nighttime?
It's daytime. About sunset.
Is that sunset?
Yeah, muggy, heat-inducing, almost summery.
What about?
Okay, so that's on the east side. We're on the west. So
let's just start looking for our queen, and I think I'm probably starting to kick open doors.
You can be gentle. There's nothing wrong with it. You're still a dude.
I like kicking.
M.I.N.T is ripping shreds of paper together or apart and says, "Try to look for newspaper or something."
I mean, M.I.N.T, there's more than just paper here. This seems to be an artisan studio. So there seems to be, if you continue to look just in this general area, seems to be easels, canvases. Maybe if you look more in depth around, you might be able to find more sturdier materials for you.
Yeah, I think they grab like a roll of raw canvas and they just tuck it under their arm and they keep digging against, like, if there's like a cubby's drawers, looking for something to put inside to make the mass of the doll.
I guess everybody can investigate. If you want to see through the illusion, observe a situation, let me know what you're choosing to do.
I kind of want to be observing like the situation for like any and everything that could be helpful, I guess, in any way, shape, or form.
So hold your intended action and the roll you get, and we'll go around and we'll see what we're working with.
I guess I'll roll to observe a situation, even though I have nothing in perception.
You
That's
can
a 13.
investigate. You can investigate if you want to like be more thorough. Look through.
I'm even worse in reason. I rolled a 13, which I can ask one question.
Okay.
I guess
You would like to ask.
my question would be, what should I be on the lookout for? I mean, I know that we need to find Queen, but
What you should be on the lookout for, that as you kind of start looking through rooms and looking through places, that you're noticing, unfinished artwork. You're seeing early iterations of paintings, and the way that you've been in artisan studios and you've seen unfinished progress work and stuff like that. But this, as the more you kind of see it, the more you notice that these are like earlier renditions or the starting of organization for paintings that would have made up the Atrocity Exhibition. And you're noticing all that in various places, various sketches, images that kind of resemble places and inspiration, the looks of people, in the same way that somebody would prepare to compose art.
So this is where it all began.
And you also kind of feel a lingering vibe here from that, from these just in early stages of the exhibition.
This is the start, going with that idea. Hugh, do we burn this building to the ground?
Yeah.
Wait.
We might as well, right? We get rid of the paintings.
Let's just find an exit, and you got it.
Wait, no. Okay, maybe after we're done in it first. I mean, we spent
We should find him first, but that should be the move. After this is done, we get rid of them.
Is there a
We need to
non-nuclear
convince
option
him.
here?
There's no need for them to exist. It's this bizarre concept. He's convinced himself that he can live forever.
Well,
The
art,
paintings
fine,
are what
but-
he poured all of this power into.
He's just a guy who's been fucked up by life. We can't
Cole,
torch his
don't you?
house.
But don't you get it? This is all connected. Hugh's right.
He
Isn't there more
sold
human-
those paintings to
Cole,
whatever
him
dark
something.
god
Cole.
he mentioned.
Cole, look where we're at.
Who else observed the situation?
I investigated.
Or Cole, what did you roll and what were the questions
I
to
got
add?
a 9. I don't think I get anything on that, yeah.
9 on observe the situation. You get to ask a question,
Oh, I get to ask.
but you get no bonus for it. And if it misses something, you would track unwanted attention or expose yourself to danger.
Yes,
So you get to ask the question. I just want to add on to this conversation that you're having with Isadora.
sure. I think I would like to ask, what is being hidden from me? Beautiful.
As Isadora kind of tells you to listen, and it causes you to pause as you're kind of feeling worked up by the desire to just actively destroy everything around you, as beautiful as this place is. That's when you hear it. This is a second story apartment or a studio. There seems to be a loft area that goes upwards. And that's where you hear it. You hear something slide above you. in the way that, like, if you were to move something of like a heavy stone or marble, it would drag and make noise above your head. And that's what kind of interrupts your conversation as Isadora is trying to get you to listen to their point.
I'm going upstairs.
Okay.
Who else is investigating? Okay. Isadora, you also were investigating as well, right?
Yes.
tell
no, it
me-
was. I did observe the situation.
Did you ask? Did we ask and answer your questions then?
Oh, you told me to hold on the roll. I
Yeah.
didn't even-
What was your role? What was your so we can ask those questions? Mint, what did you roll for your investigation?
I rolled a 14. Minus 2. I rolled a 12.
You can still ask one question.
Yeah.
Sure.
I want to know what's weird about what I'm investigating. If, like, I know that this is like an illusion and that we're probably going to burn this place down, but other than the strange noise upstairs, does it have the feeling of like the apartment that someone's been murdered in that it's normal except it's quiet? You know what I mean? Like, is there something just a little bit off?
I mean, there's definitely something off about this place in the way that when you had to push through that feeling of fear and death, you feel that on the precipice, and mainly, especially when you start touching canvases that of like unfinished artwork and stuff like that. It feels like it's attached to it, or it's letching out of it. It's a part of it, and it has energy, as if whatever Vaqueen tried to put onto canvas gave it power. Isadora, what did you roll?
You're muted.
You muted.
It's all lining up.
Yeah.
God dang it! Sorry.
We were right for once.
No, I thought I really effed up, but it was 7. Thank God. I can only ask one question.
But you attract unwanted attention and expose yourself to danger.
Oh no! I'm so sorry.
You're observing the
That's
situation.
7. Sorry, that I got like with that math correct. I actually have a 14. I got the 7 and the 1 mixed up. That's what.
Oh, I see. So you have a 14.
Yes.
So you get to ask one question with no
Thank Christ.
strings attached.
What's upstairs? Shit.
So what is the question you would like to ask?
What can I use to my advantage? No, because we already did what's hidden from me. Yeah, what can I use to my advantage?
Okay. Hold on for that for a second. Hugh, was there anything you were rolling in participating in this
No, I'm just
investigation?
gonna follow Cole upstairs. I'm just
Yeah, I'll go
following
too.
Cole upstairs. That's my only plan.
Okay. Cole, you, after hearing that loud scrapage, immediately ascend the stairs to try to investigate what it is. And you notice that there's like a small room up here. And as you kind of continue softly, you kind of continue to hear that scraping.
Can I tell what direction it's coming from?
It's coming from that room. Sorry, I just needed to pull up my note.
Oh, you're good.
You seem to come upon what looks to be like a study, and again, like as that other people have noticed in other rooms down below and spread across this artisan studio, what looks to be more paintings and sketches, furniture that's speckled and covered with furniture, charcoals and crushed. And the first thing you notice is that in the corner is what looks to be the triptych that you had saw, but in its first like early stages, as like it's just a wood frame that has been freshly stained. Amongst all of that stuff, you also see like levels of like debauchery. There's food that's been kind of thrown everywhere, and the bits of like clothes, as if somebody spent a lot of time up here and occupied a lot of space.
Lots of urine jars.
I love where you were going with this.
I mean, that's how you know somebody's been in the place for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems to be like partying was going up here in that kind of way. Not like like
not like living in the same place.
Not living in the
nonstop.
same place, but just having just wild times up here. And as you kind of get further into the study, you notice that there's kind of like a small bed, and there looks what to be bodies in there, but it's kind of obstructed a little bit by the by this little bit of like see-through canvas that kind of is thrown about the bed. But on the other side of it, you notice what looks to be wings made out of stone, and a large statue of what appears to be an angel, but it moves as if it's a living person as it kind of slides from the top of the bed and then moves towards the foot of it, scraping itself against the floor. It's Marielle Dubois, the angel that she had turned into. She's in this room and seems to be pacing back and forth amongst from the foot of the bed to the head of the bed, where these bodies are what you can just see is just two sets of feet at the edge of the bed. You would have to go in further into the room to see that a little bit more. She hasn't clocked you, but she does hear and notice like the rummaging a little bit of mint down below, and it seems to avert her attention slightly, but it wasn't quite enough to make her leave the room. She has yet to clock you.
Is she watching the people in the bed?
No, her back is away from them, but she seems to just continue to pace. There's a window in that general area, so she's kind of like sliding herself back or still into what she is than what is behind her in that bed.
In a protective
Does it look
way?
like she's searching for something?
She seems to just be pacing aimlessly, not really looking for anything, but just rocking herself back and forward.
I'm up there with them, and I think maybe Cecil just kind of puts a hand on Cole and is like, I don't know if you want to do that. And I look in the direction of Marielle.
I don't know either. I mean...
Why is she here?
Maybe she's always been here.
What does that mean?
I don't know. If time doesn't matter, if we're going in between these different periods of time, and like Hugh says, they're all connected, maybe she was always meant to become that stone gargoyle.
But why wasn't she in any of the other ones?
I don't know, but he's kind of got a point.
I mean, you can ask her, but that's your dead mom.
Well, she's not dead, I don't think. I mean, what if shouldn't we want to take her out? She's the one that started this whole thing. Shouldn't we try to stop
point.
her?
More worried about whoever's in that bed.
The bed, that reminds me of the coupling. That was one of the paintings.
Coupling.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably that queen and someone
looks
else.
Like the painting.
Yeah. I mean, does it matter who it is? Do we need to know?
To see this.
Then I guess I should go in. I think if she's
Should we
gonna
get the others?
Hugh, I think you and I get the others, because I think if anything, we might need to push this angel out a window or something like that.
Yeah.
You keep an eye on Cole. I'll go get the others, and I'll go back down the stairs as quietly as I can to get Mint and the doctor.
Okay. Cole, what are you doing?
I think, like, without turning my eyes to my mom, or away from my mom, I'll just say really quietly to Hugh, he called me an angel. And now she's one. And there's something shitty in my brain about becoming, or her becoming, or me becoming. I don't really know how to verbalize it, but I am upset by it.
That's okay. That's okay. I think you're allowed to be upset when you're stuck in hell. I think that you're awarded that. But I just want you to remember when you go to speak with this thing, and you asked me what a cult was, you asked me what all this was about. It's an idea that breaks you, it changes you, it becomes you. You're going to think you're talking to your mother. You're going to think you're talking to something that's really there. And then he looks down to his own arm and then back to them. We both know there's nothing there. Just the idea.
Did the prayer sound familiar to you? Did you recognize it?
I didn't recognize the language, I didn't recognize the name, I didn't recognize the motions, but I recognized it in a way that speaks to everything that I am, in a way that I think only a few people on this earth can. I recognized its intent.
Right.
And I'm sure you did too.
Yeah. Do you want me to ask her anything? I'll gesture at his arm.
I don't fucking know. But I'll be standing right next to you. I'm sure I won't keep my mouth shut.
I'm counting on it. And then I think I'll just start walking in.
You walk into the room, and Marielle continues to pace amongst the bed. And as you get closer, you notice that the people in the bed are both nude, but also torn to shreds, to the point where you can't even really recognize them. And as you kind of round around the foot of it towards where Marielle is pacing back and forward, you notice that, like, she's covered in these dark stains that look and appear to be blood. And she's just in a, like, if she were human and her body wasn't made of stone, you would swear that she would be in anguish, hyperventilating, sobbing, doing all of that. But all you see is just that pain kind of fashioned onto her face in permanence. But nothing more. She seems hurt, distraught, upset, and in pain. Are you just walking in front of her to make your presence known to her, or are you continuing to stand in the back and observe this manicness?
I think once I notice that she's covered in viscera and gore, some of that anger that Cole was feeling earlier kind of ignites again and kind of washes out any of the weird grief that they'd been kind of struck in. And they'll just kind of march right up to her, kind of back in the old patterns of my mom's an asshole. What am I going to do about it? And say, I guess I don't have to ask if this was your fault.
The body unnaturally moves as its head moves upon its shoulder into your peripheries as she takes you in. And without word, she moves to you, Cole, with swiftness, as if she would go to attack somebody. And you kind of get to that moment where you're about to brace yourself for it, the scraping stops, and you realize that there's a little bit of wind of displacement from how swift she was moving, but she seems to stand right there in front of you. And even with anguished expression, the hands kind of reach out to you and cup the sides of your face in a way that, like, your mother hasn't done to you since you were small. And it's just she's towering over you, and you're kind of like stuck in, like, as if you were a part of this statue in this moment, Jess. Her reaching out to you.
I don't know what you're trying to fix, but it can't be. What did you do? Why did you start this? What? You just sentenced a gallery full of people to death for what? You were sick and you were scared? Yeah, Cecil told me, by the way. Thanks for giving me warning. What the fuck, Mom?
You have to roll something for your inner power, yes, Cole?
Yes, I do. So
roll that. As you're kind of throwing out those responses to Marielle, expecting that she's just going to be able to just be honest with you in a moment, you realize that you are, in fact, still talking to a statue, as she seems to not have moved since she had embraced you in this way, as if she's still trying to just get you to, understand, but you can't quite, because she can't articulate it to you. You just you just see that tightened, anguished expression that just it's stirring those parts of you that's that you've seen, the colors of the watercolor, the power that you had noticed that it seems to be amplified more here in this space, and you kind of start seeing it kind of leak out from your skin, and that bit of yellowish color, the prisms of the watercolor that makes up your power, but not enough to really do any more than that. The others, Cecil has come down, those who are still on the bottom floor, as Cecil comes down and mentions that Marielle is upstairs in the study. Are you going to follow?
We might need to push somebody out a window. Come on.
Okay, that's exactly what I need these for. I'm almost done.
Wait. Why don't we just burn the house?
Stone doesn't burn.
Oh yeah, and put. All right, yeah, that's true. I take it back. Let's go.
I'm almost done.
I can admit when I'm wrong.
How much do you think I'd be able to create in that time? Also, I'm absolutely certain that this is an advantage that I should be rolling about.
Yes, I believe so.
I believe this is either Snake Charmer or Forbidden Inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's already got little Russian dolls that you can just...
Forbidden Inspiration. Well, that's lovely. Okay. That's a number. Sorry, that's 13.
13. I would say you can, in this quick amount of time, I would say you can make it between 3 to 4.
Okay, cool.
But you're hastily slapping them together. They're definitely not here for show, but they are more functional than the paper one you had made earlier, that didn't have much movement and joint edge to it. But you have 4 dolls that you can use. Isadora, you earlier was investigating something to your advantage when you get up to the study and realize that you're amongst some of Baqueen's other tools and stuff like that, as he's using this as a place to work and study, you notice that there are some chisels and some like hammers and mallets that were probably used in sculpting or erecting the triptych frame that you see tucked in the corner.
Cecil.
Yes.
How would you like to take out some aggression? And I'm going to just point to the tools.
I don't think we need those tools. I think we literally all just push this thing out a window and it's going to smash and break.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to
But
still
I'll take a crowbar just because I feel like it.
Oh, douche chills. Went up. Spine.
Mint is running upstairs with these dolls. The forbidden inspiration means I rolled a 13, so I get one option.
Mm-hmm.
If I can hold enticing the beast in my direction, I want to be luring it to the window when I'm up the stairs.
Okay. So you want to use the dolls to distract Marielle while you guys attack them. Is that what I'm getting? Okay.
Yeah.
Unless anyone has any objection, the idea is we go up there and basically push this stone thing towards the window, preferably out the window, and just let it smash and break on the other side once it falls out that window.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Yes. I will be grabbing a big ass, like that hammer, because just in case we might need to smash some hands or heads.
That's fine. If we're all in agreement that we're gonna do that, then I'm going to use my one of my sixth sense allows me to act first in a threatening situation. This can include even acting prior to a surprise attack. Could I use this as the group surprise as we all just on three bum rush this thing?
I will give you the advantage of Marielle not clocking you as you guys rush in here, as she's extremely preoccupied with Cole in this moment. Is that just the immediacy? Once you get to the top, you guys are just all together rushing in there as you guys are looking on to Cole, as Marielle seems to be kind of enwrapped around her, like her wings are kind of almost like spread and folded as they're kind of just embracing Cole in this gesture of kindness.
It's the absolute most tragic time to do it, so I think yes.
I was gonna say, I kind of want the dolls to be the first thing that makes it over the top of the stairs, and they start just like walking towards the window. So as Cole's mom is looking past them, behind them while hugging, they just see three little, like, big little planet-looking motherfuckers going towards the window.
Yeah, Cole, you're still trying to like get something out of Marielle, and it's so typical of her to not give you the answers, to anything. And, it just seems in this moment that she's just trying to ask for some forgiveness or trying to get you to recognize why she was doing this in the end in some way. But as you're kind of seeing that, you also clock those little dolls of Mint kind of skittering slowly past you as you still see the bits of your watercolor power still working around your fingertips as you still look at Marielle. Is there anything you would like to do in this final bit of interaction with Marielle before the rest of your party enters in the room?
I think Cole's just kind of frozen in this weird moment of hearing Hugh say, "It's not your mom." It's like your mom is not your mom anymore. This is the cult, basically. And knowing that, but also like that weird need to be close to her because she's acting like a mom for a second, mixed with all the rage from before. I think they're just like this weird storm of emotions, and are kind of just stuck. I don't think there's much of anything they can do right now.
Okay. You're caught in that moment. You're wanting answers. You're not getting it. The well of power, as Marielle just keeps looking on you anguishedly, holding you so gently. And maybe you're about to say something. Maybe you're about to just let go of the feeling that's just been welling up inside of you. For a long time, Marielle has always been at opposition with you. There's never been something since you were very young that you guys shared outside of name and blood. And once again, you're at odds with her. This is once again just she does something that realizes isn't the thing that you were expecting, wanting, needing from her. And she is trying to convince you that she's right. And as you sit in that moment, frozen, more of that watercolor starts to kind of leak out of you. And as that feeling starts to well up you, that's when everybody rushes into the room. Everybody roll me a engage in combat, as you guys are intending to harm Marielle and get her to be pushed out of that window. I will collect that with and take it into consideration with Cecil's sixth sense, to see how well you guys do. Such a statue requires the power of all of you.
I got a 9.
I got a 14.
14.
11.
11.
10.
10. Hugh?
Okay, so whenever you fight with no regard for your personal safety, roll plus violence, and I got a 17, which means I get 3 edges when I'm doing this. So I'm gonna use vicious and reckless, which means I get to deal +2 harm with 1 attack, and I get a +1 ongoing for the fight. And in addition to that, I'm just going to roll my violence for you again right here.
Yes, please.
Who knew Hugh would be the muscle?
Oh, hell yes! Demon arm!
Do you know the power of a curse?
I have a 17, meaning that I do well.
You do
Yes.
well. You inflict damage to your opponent and avoid... Yeah. Okay.
So it's the damage plus an extra 2 harm.
Beautiful. I think that is collectively enough. So you, as Cole, you are stuck and frozen in this moment. It's immediately interrupted with just the bomb rushing of just 4 individuals who have taken on this journey with you. And Isadora, M.I.N.T, and Cecil, you guys are the first to kind of like launch this assault. As just the sheer weight of you, Isadora, if you're using your hammer, you guys are kind of able to just initially move Marielle towards the window, as they were not even expecting that, and the 3 of your weight was enough. But she comes around and she like claws at you guys, so you guys are going to take a bit of 1 point of harm from that, as you guys take consequences rolling in that section. But as that happens, as the sheer force and show and display of power of Marielle pushes Cecil, Isadora, and Mint out of the way with just a strike of her arm. You come in there with the same energy and wrap and kind of tackle onto her, and you kind of like grab with your cursed arm as it kind of starts to kind of coil around parts of Marielle as you just hold her, drag her, and just the sheer force of what you're doing is essentially cracking her hard exterior as she's screeching and crying against your weight as you get her far enough to the window and just throw her. And she breaks through the window. You also getting into, the sound of glass and stuff like that. It's enough of her body hangs out, and she just teeters over. And she tries to like stretch out her wings and attempt to move and to fly, but it just doesn't seem to work being made of stone. As she eventually falls to the ground and collapses into various pieces. She's not completely destroyed, but she's incapacitated as she's like, her arm has been stretched out, her wings shattered into pieces. She's just a broken statue on the ground, still kind of moving, but just writhing and calling out in anguish. It was enough for you to get her out of this room and on the ground. Not enough to kill her though, but not enough for her to do anything more to you all. As you hear that below you.
Well, shall we finish?
I think Cecil takes at least one look out the window and is like, sorry, Marielle, and then he'll get it going.
Everybody, roll me a keep it together as you guys have, Marielle. You've all had some intrinsic relationship with her outside of, beyond what KULT was to Marielle. And to see her both in this state and to all of that is putting more and more strain on you. As the further you go into this madness with Bat Queen's life, the more you're feeling that madness with it.
How do we also, real quick, mark our wound if we took one wound?
You should have it in on your character sheet. There should be a harm chart.
I see wounds, and I see that there's 4 check marks. I guess we just fill in one of the boxes?
Yeah, just fill one of those boxes in.
Gotcha.
Take one harm.
Cool.
And then with our act under pressure...
I have a 13. It's keep it together.
Keep it together.
Willpower. Yeah.
I rolled a 16.
16.
I rolled a 12.
17.
Hugh.
I rolled a 6.
Cole.
13.
Isadora. Cecil. Though you guys had relations with Marielle, you being so touched by the darkness and the secrets you know are not fazed by the fact that one would face final consequences for their choices and their actions. And you find that unbothering to you as you want to just move on and hopefully escape your own fates. Cole and Mint, you guys rolled...
I had a 6, not a 16. A 6.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not. I only included.
I had the bad one.
Yeah. I haven't gotten to you yet.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought I heard my name. I'm dumb.
Oh no, Isadora and Cecil.
Okay. I'm an idiot. I'm like,
no,
okay. I'm getting off.
You're fine. It's on the way.
No.
Cole and Mint. You will take further conditions, so you can, let's see, what is it? You can either become angry, sad, scared, guilt-ridden, become obsessed, or distracted.
I'm going to take angry.
Cool.
She's probably guilt-ridden.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mark those stabilities. Act upon any additional disadvantages that might bring you. Cole, you know, watching these folks go to bat for you and do what maybe you feel you didn't have the courage to do, which was always, you know, confront your mother at the end of the day. And in her final moments, you weren't able to even do that. And it just leaves that sour, angry, bitter taste in your mouth as you look out the window and see her in pieces and nothing more can be done.
I think Cole's just going to start, like, breaking the sides of the window where it hasn't shattered all the way and just shattering out all the glass with their cane.
Okay, we did it, right? What's next? We did the bad thing. We're good now. We can go to the next one or whatever. We burn it down, right? We burn it down.
I vote for that.
Okay. Then M.I.N.T starts heading. Is there anything upstairs that looks flammable? There's like booze and shit, right?
Yeah, there's tinctures. There's a bunch of stuff, things to cut oil, things to stain wood that would be considered flammable.
Okay. Yeah, M.I.N.T starts covering the place, covering the loft upstairs with it and throwing some stuff over the side.
Hugh, I think... And do you think that this is emotional trauma, witnessing the end of Marielle, or do you think this is a part of the life-changing lack of stability that you're finding in your life?
I think that you're absolutely correct in what I think you're indicating, and that is, I think this has way more to do with his body than it ever did his relationship with... I don't think he necessarily cared too much about this woman in comparison to someone like Cecil. So I think it is legitimately what took out of his body the second that he did this. Yeah. I think that coming back from the window, he has this intensely labored breathing in his right side. And the eyes have begun to propagate so much so that they're starting to show on his neckline and climb up. And he's almost taken on like the breath of an emphysema sufferer, as he's very much leaning to one side off of his body and feeling an intense amount of pain.
I'm going to investigate him immediately and also examine his neck.
Okay. Yeah, Hugh, as you you committed the final act, so you're the closest to the window. So you, at this whole time, as everybody else is situating themselves, is just been locked onto Marielle and you've been kind of panting in that way. It took a lot of exertion of your body to do this, and even in morality, you don't seem to be a man who's drawn to violence as the first course of solution. So being overcome by both of that, like committing essentially murder, and knowing that it's attached to a curse and an affliction that Marielle had succumbed to, it seems to just agitate your body, and that's what causes it to start to spread, both like externally and internally. That breathing is because something heavy is starting to feel on that lung adjacent to your
there's probably eyeballs in there.
Yeah, and it's spreading up your neck, and it's even like on like the bottom of your cheek, right where the mouth is an eye slit that's slowly starting to stretch as you turn over, as this curse, agitated by stress and stress, is now spreading viciously through your body.
Eli, would you say that me convincing the group to push poor Marielle out the window put her in harm's way?
Put Marielle in harm's way?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. You had intentions to harm. You had intentions to end her. and what she could potentially do to you.
Right.
So, yeah.
I mean, I'm only asking because of my opportunist advantage. I might gain 1 stability for doing that.
Yeah, I think that kind of can go alongside with the fact that you rolled that keep it together adjacent to it. You are slowly starting to feel no remorse, which has been a part of your thing, but something that you're now practicing in day-to-day life.
I'm now merely feeling uneasy.
Yes, you're just a little worried. You're getting confidence back. You think that you're regaining control over the situation, especially now that you can destroy something powerful and unnatural. So we're burning the building?
Yes, but I am going to make sure Hugh gets his breathing under control, even with all of the eyes popping up.
Yeah, you go and check him out and stuff like that. You see how much that growth is going, but you're seeing how stressed and panicked he was feeling. He's in distress.
No. Breathe. That's what's caused. It's not that. It's
I think
not that bad.
They're inside.
Okay. I am going to try
hurting, Doctor.
Okay. Well, let's get him out. I'm going to be very. May I touch the eye arm? You okay with
Swan,
that?
Doctor Swan, give me your lighter before you go.
Here, toss it, and
I'll probably toss it to Mint.
Yeah, Mint probably they trade one of the bottles of booze remains unemptied and tosses it to the two of you.
I'll take a swig.
And they say we should probably all head towards any door or any exit. They say, looking out the window that someone just fell through, and sticks the lighter over the ledge.
I don't know if I can walk, Doctor. Can you walk with me?
Yes. If I touch him, is it my hands are goopy with eye stuff? I just want to make sure.
I mean, are you specifically touching that side of his body?
That's fine. Well, it's I'm gonna help him. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've rubbed your eyes before, so you know what an eyeball kind of feels like. You can't help but
I've seen some
roll over eyeballs,
This is nothing. I used to work in the ER, so don't worry. I used to do
They're constantly blinking and sliming across your arm.
Yeah.
They keep looking at you.
Yeah.
What color are the eyes, by the way?
Various colors.
It's like a mottled red flesh around them, but all of the eyes have different irises and colors and scleras.
I will say, if Mint walks past them with the lighter lit, there's a wave of dilation that starts and stops. That is just unpleasant.
Yeah, you'll notice the arm, everything on that right side of his body is very fearful of the lighter in the room. And he winces in pain anytime the flame gets close.
Be okay, we'll make sure that doesn't happen.
So you're setting the building ablaze?
Yes.
We're not trying to do surgery in here.
No. I'm going to keep I just want to get us out of there, but I'm going to want to take a look over Hugh eventually to make sure he's okay.
And then she drops the lighter over the side of the loft.
Can I start just moving the bodies around, trying to get any kind of sense of who they might have been? I know you said they were pretty fucked up, but I don't know, any a mole that Queen had that I might have noticed, or I don't know. Just trying to get a sense of what my mom destroyed.
Honestly, the more you try to look into it, the more it's just, they're disemboweled. There's no head there. The body was torn. What you can gather from it is that this was malicious and intentional. There was intentions to there was raw rage and emotion put towards this.
Okay.
Somebody doesn't commit an act like this without feeling some heavy emotions towards it. To just desecrate two bodies like that.
I think Cole feels like a weird discomfort at having just destroyed something too in rage and seeing the mirroring rage in the destruction of these people and kind of stumbles out of the room.
Before you light this fire, a question for all of you. You have been through moments in these paintings, in these regions. You've collected enough information, and you have acquired yourself with weapons in the forms of tinctures and items that you've collected. Do you feel enough that you have enough here to be able to face the real source of the problem?
Yeah.
Or is there anything else you need to acquire in this moment before you set this fire ablaze, before you destroy this villa and all of the work in it? Is there anything else you would like to prepare yourself?
I pick up one of my dolls on the way out.
I'm gonna take a quick look real fast and make sure I have my mallet too.
Take the mallet
And
with
that
you.
bone knife.
You have the knife.
There is one thing Hugh is thinking. I think he'll call Cecil over, and just fear dawning on his face again. There's still the security guard. He's still out there. There's still that other being. He's the last one we need to take care of.
I know, believe me, I know that. That's why I have this.
Okay. We just need to be prepared. We need everything we have when we go into there.
Now, let's think about this. We desecrated the runes. We set the place on fire. We have to try that all over again with this guy. So somebody try to distract him. Maybe I do it with my gun long enough to somebody has to try to break up whatever they're trying to do with the ritual.
That's
Okay.
well, I got that.
That's
I lift
doable.
up.
Someone has to deal with my mom again. There's not be me.
And we look at Hugh with all the eyes, gonna be like, do us a favor and just, watch our backs.
So you have
I think I could be a pretty good distraction if we.
I feel like we may just have one last hurrah with you, sadly. Hugh. And I want to make sure we keep you around as long as possible.
Speaking of, Hugh, I want you to hold something before we go to the next room, and I'm going to put out the contract, pull it out, I'm going to hand it to him. You don't have to sign it, but if you see me, if you see I'm dying, if you see that I'm damned, please, for my fucking soul, sign the contract.
Would you like me to hold on to it?
No, he has to hold it.
Jesus fucking...
Listen, I don't know that there's going to be time for even that in the next room, so maybe we should handle this now. If I sign this, if your soul is saved, if you get another shot at this in whatever is next, because if there must be something down, there must be something up, right? If you get another chance, what are you actually going to do with it?
I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to... Oh, shut up!
You're sentencing... You are being a coward. Look at that.
You tell me what you want, and I promise I'll do it.
He's just...
No, it doesn't matter what I want. It never did. This isn't my life to live. This is a chance I could give you, but I'm not going to give you a chance if you don't even know what the fuck you want to do with it, Cecil. You have been moving around this thing for all your life. You've been circling what you think you want. And if you don't have an answer, I don't have a signature for you. So you either sign it over to me with the purpose or not.
I have an answer. Mary Jansen. I caught feelings before the show, and I just want to settle down with her. I just want to love her, and I just want to have a normal life with her. I swear to God.
I'll be honest. You swearing on anything is actually.
I see. Swearing to God in hell, and
Thank you.
I don't even have the. Later.
There's not enough internet memes to capture the irony.
Cecil, you promise this is real? You promise that you're not just saying anything to get me to sign this paper?
Oh,
and I'll know.
You literally said screw Mary Jansen 2 hours ago.
It was just because of the desert. I didn't realize that it was so easy to traverse.
Freudian slip.
No, you sniveling. You're gonna literally sign over your problem to him?
Is this a new revelation to you, Doctor? We talked about this in the office.
No. But it's been getting more. This is different.
Obviously, signing that contract is a bad idea.
I'm gonna sign it. And I know it's a bad idea. And I know you're probably gonna fuck me on this. I know that you're gonna move through life doing the same thing you're gonna do. But you know what? Maybe there will be some level of guilt on your new immortal soul that will remind you that someone who cared about you, who thought you could be more than cheap champagne, was looking out for you. So give it over. I'll sign it right now. I'll sign it right here, Cecil.
Oh, thank God. Okay, yeah, here you go. I'll just unravel it.
Do we sign it, Hugh?
Hugh will take whatever pen he needs to and
I've got a pen.
Sign the contract.
Click it twice.
I almost have to feel like I have to give him a shot. Like, are you sure?
I'm positive. But I have some stipulations in what I'm doing here.
He doesn't have to.
I have
listen to
a
as soon as you
second
sign
book.
it. Oh, what?
And it's finished, despite what you thought, Cecil. And it has been for a while. And I'm ready for it to go to the public, but I don't want it to until I'm gone. So I have 2 circumstances on which you can make money off of my name with your new immortal soul should you get out of here. You're going to have KULT Dubois announce themselves as the writer of this novel.
What?
It will be sold as a biography, not an autobiography, in a work of fiction so that no questions are asked. And you will publish. If you can agree to those terms, and you can do right by Cole, then I'll allow you that. I'll sign this contract.
That I can absolutely shake on.
He puts out his hand, his good hand, to shake.
Yeah. I'll shake it.
Shake it.
You
sign
are
it,
very
We all good
kind-
here?
You're a kind-hearted fool, an idiot, but
Well, I think I've got maybe 15 minutes left in me. I might as well do some crazy shit before I go. And I'm gonna sign the contract, Eli.
Okay.
You signed the contract, Hugh Letho, and the moment the pen leaves the paper, the contract immediately withers and crumbles into dust. And Cecil, you, ever since you came across Thamiel and made this deal with them, you've always had this like heavy weight on your shoulder, like something's been ball and chaining you. But the moment that contract kind of dissipates, you don't feel it anymore.
I just like there's like tears welling in my eyes, and I grab Hugh, probably in a place that would feel uncomfortable, and I just hug him like, "You saved my goddamn life, man! You saved my damn life!"
get the off him.
I know.
I won't forget it. I swear to God,
Just
I won't forget
do
this.
something with
What,
Let's
another
go.
25-year-old?
Let's bring this to a close, guys. I'm ready. We got this.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. You set this studio ablaze, and the fire doesn't take long to spread through the house as you guys walk down the stairs, through the remnants of sketches of the early iterations of what would have become the Atrocity Exhibition, this place in which Vacuine seemed to have been found inspiration in, as you see those images of Caravaggio and Bosque and Dali kind of get swept up in these flames and burned. You head for the front door of this small little apartment, and you all exit one by one, closing the door behind and allowing whatever to happen behind you happen. And where you come out on the other side, passing this doorway, you find yourself at the end of a long arching hallway, constructed from smooth plaster. It resembles like the inside of like a snail's shell, slowly spiraling inward. Cracks and gouges kind of appear on its surface in number the you on. There's a greasy light that trickles through these openings, serving as windows into the purgatories, into the glimpses of that red subspace that you had seen when you first opened the window of the gallery. Wherever this hell or wherever this place you had been taken to by that queen. And as you guys continue forward, you eventually enter into an all dark room in the same way that the gallery of Dubois was when you first watched you first got to see the initial exhibition. And in the midst of that single light, as you guys spill in, sees the form of that queen, kind of in the way that you saw him in the cave prior, praying. But he's just sitting there on his knees in the center of this light as you guys are kind of out on the peripheries of it. And he seems to have seen your presence. You guys take a few more steps forward and realize that within this room as well, in the distance, like Dubois' gallery, are the 8 paintings of the Atrocity Exhibition, as well as the man-sized triptych in the distance. And Vacuine kind of turns his head to you all, looks you all over for a moment, clocks you and pauses for a moment, Cole, before he continues on to looking at everybody else. And he finally says, "Don't you see? Don't you see?" And then, before you can even respond to that, he pulls out a paintbrush and holds it tightly in his hand. And then he just gouges out both of his eyes with that paintbrush. As he writhes in pain, falls to the ground, blood spilling all around, as you guys just are washed by that sense of dread, of death, as the queen slowly just dies out on the floor in front of you. And you can feel the rippling and the rippling amongst the paintings and the triptych in the way that you first witnessed Marielle do before. And then things go dark the moment that Queen last breath is uttered in this space. And the next thing you see, you're back in the main floor of the Cecil Throne Arts Center. And what you are now witnessing is the works of the creature that came from Alano this entire time. 8 paintings kind of hung in the back, the triptych there, but the painting of a very detailed and intricate sigil made out of blood. And there's all those like living dead corpses that are kind of stroll about, and some of them are like underneath the paintings and murmuring ritualistic chanting in the way that you've heard before. And the creature is continuing to just fill out and finalize this sigil as he has spent this entire time while you have been in whatever subspace you have been in. And even if you look up, you just see that red subspace and what looks to be like a black like moon in contrast hanging over the top of this the rotunda that makes up the building. But you're here, back at the gallery, back into Queen's world, or whatever Alano had become. What are we trying to do? Actually,
It hasn't noticed us?
Actually, roll me. It hasn't noticed you yet, but roll it. Keep it together as you've returned to the space. You're witnessing everything that is going on, and you are about to make your moves to try to end this madness.
I got a 4.
I have an 11.
11.
I got a 14.
14.
14.
14. Hugh.
I got a 16.
16. All right, Hugh, you're more preoccupied with the state of your being than you are fearing the unnatural before you. So it is stronger than that, so you're able to kind of hold yourself together. Isadora, Cecil, and M.I.N.T, this is a ghastly sight to see. You're seeing paint pots that were contorted out of human bodies that are now collecting a weird batch of like what might be paint. It moves like oil, but it's stained in dark ichorish colors that you can't quite make out what its source of pigment might be. You're just watching, throws of bodies of patrons of people you knew, just scattered about, and this is so unsettling and disturbing. What condition, or what are we taking here? Are we angry? Are we upset? Are we sad? Distracted? How are we feeling?
I think Cecil is taking obsessed, because right now the only thing on his mind is trying to get out of here. So he's looking for ways, and he's got some ideas.
Okay. Sure.
I'm also gonna get obsessed.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Is the obsession towards Bat Queen to the creature in front of you itself, or?
it's because I was gonna say that creature that because I had that thing where I was enchanted earlier in the first one.
You want to
with
put it towards that?
Well, no, I didn't know if that was also like.
It absolutely can be. We have not seen that one since you last one.
No, yeah.
Okay.
Shit, I fucked up.
We'll put it towards that.
No,
Seth, what are you putting your obsession towards? It's usually towards the relationship or a connection to somebody. So you can either establish a connection here with the creature that you're witnessing, or you can put that obsession towards somebody else.
I guess I'll put it towards the creature, because by proxy it's like Marielle. I already have I have a 0 with Alana to set, but
Okay.
I think I might as well.
All right, add that relationship to Alano.
Yeah.
As that is becoming the source of, raw and natural power. Like you now with the weight of, Thaumiel off of you, are now just being able to recognize and appreciate unlawful, unyielding power.
Is that possible that, because that would actually really fit way better because I'd be stunned at that creature.
If you want it to be that creature, absolutely. We can do the same thing for you. Yeah, you both are succumb with seeing raw and natural power. And even Thamia wasn't able to give you what it seems Torghini could give that queen, or to Alano, or to whoever this being is. Cole, you rolled a 4, and I would say at this point in time that you'll take the -4 to your stability. The life-changing trauma as...
Whoa. Welcome to the club, homie.
Yeah,
You're experiencing like no good, very bad day for you, my guy.
Yeah, rough.
It's just compounding, It started with the fact that you had to come to this silly affair, and it came to find that, your mother had ill intentions, and that intentions bled into the murder of your own father and the murder of people. And the ending of even her as she succumbs to the madness, and now you're just witnessing just the final of all this to preserve oneself and to destroy everything in its path, and you feel responsible as well, as this seems to be swept up and a part of your life and was coming.
Yeah. I think Cole's reached irrational now. And Cole is also angry.
Yes.
So I think Cole just, as soon as I see Marielle, I'm going to her and I'm gonna fight her.
Oh, Marielle's not here. It's
not?
It's Alano. It's the being that was once Alano. You already dealt with Marielle. Marielle.
She's gone.
She's gone. As far as you know, she's not here.
I thought it was like training grounds and we kill her in one place and then...
No, this is the being Alano. This being I described earlier, but I'll describe again. Stands about 9 feet in height.
Mm-hmm.
He is his skin looks like it's made of paper. And it even kind of stretches and moves like it is paper being stretched tight and taut. And if you were to look even closer, you would even think that there's something underneath that skin that seems to kind of push out as like a face or like a hand, like something's stuck right behind the veil of his body. He's wearing this kind of funeral looking shroud, all of white, and the most notable thing on him is the paintbrush that seems to be in the main pocket of what appears to be like an artisan's like apron. The same similar looking paintbrush is what you saw moments before you got here.
Then rolling back a little bit, now that I understand that my mom's done. I think same energy, different target. Cole just starts moving, not even trying to be stealthy, just mad, and I'm gonna hit something, and that something's gonna be you.
Okay. And you're going towards this creature that was once Alano.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else?
Distraction. There's a small.
Yeah. Is anybody stopping them? Is anybody doing anything? Are you letting Cole take charge in the situation?
They got it.
If Cole is going out there, I think Hugh's going to take a quick little moment to take a notepad out from his jacket, write a little some, put it back in his jacket, and then chase after Cole, basically going to do the same thing. He's a little slower in step for sure, but he's got his arm out, and he's ready to back them up.
Okay. Anybody else doing anything important at this moment? I mean, I assume you guys are kind of tucked away, hiding, not like in plain view unless you want to be in plain view. I feel like Cole and Hugh will disturb that that moment of not being seen.
Cecil wants to see if he can find the irrigation system within the building, usually for fires and stuff. His hope is that he can maybe shoot at it or set it off, and the water will wash away all of the art, the runes, all of that stuff that's been done on the floor.
Okay.
I was going to say, M.I.N.T starts using that to cover starts using the bowls of pigment and just starts adding to them to disrupt them instead of, scratching up the paint from earlier.
You're going to those body pots and messing with that stuff.
Yeah, if there's like a brush in there, then they're going to use that, but otherwise they're just dumping them to cover whatever runes are on the ground.
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of follow behind Cecil. I'm going to make sure I have like that. Hopefully, good, because he's got that bone knife in hand to make sure nothing sneaks up.
Okay, so you're supporting Cecil.
Yes. Because you're going where he's going. I'm gonna watch.
Okay, so. Everybody roll me. I guess we can put all of that act under pressure as you guys are setting yourselves up to fight this being. And it has yet to see you, so it has yet to really do anything else.
Might I use my ace up the sleeve advantage where I roll plus cool, and if I roll well enough, I have something. It says when someone has got you up against the wall or in a tight spot, and then I would have some edges that don't necessarily sound like they might be appropriate, but I feel like maybe it would give me some kind of advantage.
Sure, we can roll it now, and even if you don't find something appropriate for this moment and second, once things get into the fray, you absolutely have that at your advantage.
May I also, because I have a thing called Genius, where if I find myself in a life-threatening situation, I can roll and get edges as well?
Sure, yeah, roll that now, because you're definitely entering into a life-threatening situation, so why not prepare yourself beforehand? So we'll go by teams. I'll address Hugh and Nicole together, Isadora and Cecil, and then M.I.N.T on the solo dolo. So I feel I feel Hugh and Cole are the first ones out into this, as Cole is possessed by the irrational thought of confronting something ungodly. What exactly are you doing? Are you throwing things? Are you verbally accosting this being?
Is there art on the way to it?
No, you're in the main gallery area. So there was no art actually hung here. You do see in the distance behind this being that it is the Atrocity paintings, right? But nothing that you can just grab.
Cool. Then I've got a cane and I'm full of rage. I'm kind of just trying to ideally, I think I want to just poke. It looks like paper, so I want to poke holes in it and see what's inside.
Makes sense.
All right, then I want you to engage in combat. Hugh, what are you doing to as you're right behind the heels of Cole?
I think he slings out his right arm, concentrates very heavily, and then begins to grow a very dense collection of eyeballs at the very edge of his arm, enough that they amass a massive weight. And he's going to try and hurl that at the head of this thing. the best he can, using his arm like a mace almost. And I'm going to use my inner power to do so.
Perfect. Roll plus soul for inner power, and hold on to that for a second. Isadora and Cecil, you guys rolled your ace up your sleeves and stuff. Do you guys have? What are the results for that?
I rolled a 15 for my ace up my sleeve, which gives me 2 edges.
Perfect. Do you have something that you want to do currently in this moment, as you see Hugh and Cole just guns blazing straight towards this creature?
I think I'm probably going to aim the gun up at some of the sprinkler system and try to shoot it so that it sets it off.
Okay, perfect. So roll.
Maybe act under pressure?
Yeah, roll me an act under pressure.
Okay.
And then add whatever advantages you get with the ace up your sleeves to that roll, or how that works.
Well, the way it works is, real quick, I have some edges. One of them is you spot a way out, ask the GM what it takes, +2 to your next roll. So I'll take that. I'll have +2 to my next roll.
Okay.
Damn, that was a 9.
Shit.
Get 1 okay, yeah, 9.
9. There is serious consequences. You make a mistake or you are exposed to the danger. Good. Isadora, what was your result for the genius?
I got an 11. So I can choose up to 2 edges usable anytime in the scene while I'm still in danger. So that has to be key.
Is there anything you're doing outside of just porting this using that genius now, or are you holding on to those until something seems more opportunistic?
I'm going to hold for right now.
Okay.
Can they help me on the next round in some way? Like
Possibly.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But it's like I kind of have to know if the shit is hit the faneth. Like, does that make sense?
And then Mint, roll me an act under pressure, as you already have a goal and intention to disrupt by removing the materials from the field.
Question for you. If I turn this into a kind of performance and start destroying things almost in like a trance-like dance, can I add plus soul and use Snake Charmer?
Okay.
One more performance. For
Interesting.
You gotta describe.
Now or never.
You gotta describe the shit out of this performance.
It looks like a contemporary dance routine. At first, she just starts walking up to bowls and kicking them over, but then she starts like swinging into it. She like takes her knife out and rips across a canvas and turns around and kicks something over. It's this like stomp, like soft crump cutting dance. That
Soft crump.
Yeah, it's a soft crump.
A gentle crump.
And she looks like a puppet. Like she's just like kind of going insane with it.
Okay.
That's a 16, I believe.
Okay.
If I got my soul right. 15.
That's
And
a
then-
pretty good crump.
I got too excited.
And then-
15.
Hugh, what were your final rolls for your engage in combats? Or what
I got
were
a
you,
10 because I have a -1 in violence.
Perfect. And then for your inner power, Hugh?
My inner power was a 21. So
All right.
get fucked, I guess. 2 free hurt for you.
It's called Pac-Man.
3 hurts
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, I also get to ask the creature something.
Oh.
If I roll, sorry, if I roll the Snake Charmer skill, I rolled a 15, which means I choose one option immediately, and I may choose up to 2 or more in the future. I just want to ask the creature for something that I desire, which is a way out.
Oh.
Interesting. Okay.
So
I know you just got punched in the face, but
Yeah,
can you show us the exit?
spins and slaps you. Where's the door?
start ass really quick.
Okay.
We are still gonna kill you, but
Definitely.
if you could leave a door open.
Definitely. like and
Cole, you're the
subscribe.
first. Cole, you're the first to make contact, as you were the one to just blaze out of there without a complete plan after assessing the situation, and you go to strike this 10-foot being with your cane.
No
to
thoughts,
give
just
them-
rage.
Just to give them a piece of your mind, and you
I'm
do.
my mother's child in some ways.
You strike at it, and it feels it immediately, and it looks down at you. And when you make eye contact with it, you realize that it has no eyes, and there's nothing but like black ichor just flowing down its face. And as you look at that for a second and realize how grandiose this is, it reaches down and it grabs you and is now holding you up in one of its hands, as Hugh train wrecks in the moment. Like it grabs you and it like pulls you down to look at you, and you're like really looking into the eyes of this thing as it just pours more and more dark ichor out of it. And before it gets to do anything more than squeeze you just a little bit tighter, that's when Hugh comes crashing in with its inner power, as the arm itself seems once again kind of take its control over for itself and just starts to rip into the abdomen of what you think is Vaqueen, as it like kind of tears like paper, and you can feel the creature just roar out in pain and still holding on to you, and not letting you go, but feeling the weight of the harm that has been inflicted. Meanwhile, Cecil, you go and while seeing all that, try to capitalize, as you think that disrupting the sigil by washing it away might be the way to fully support the situation. But when you go to fire, it doesn't seem to let off anything. But you swear it hit the target, even though it's like so high up you can't even really tell if it actually struck it. So you think it might be just poor maintenance.
I shouldn't have skimped on the inspections last year.
Meanwhile, while everybody is kind of distracted, you are doing your jive and jig, and it seems to kind of go with the general motion of the other living dead in the background that's also kind of gyrating and chanting underneath the paintings. So it seems like maybe you're just part of the overall vibe that's being set here in the background. You're just one of the extra dancers, and
Yeah.
And while you're doing that, you're just accidentally going,
Whoops.
ha, and things start to be spilled and kicked over, as this like as it kind of like spills out. It's like thick blood, like oil in consistency, but deep, rich reds that look almost black because there's just so much of it that you can't really see the rest of the pigmentation of that's inside of it, as if it's been collecting blood and viscera this entire time, as it's kind of spilling on the floor. What are we doing? That queen is injured from Hugh as that arm continues to kind of tear at it, but they're still being held by Cole. They're still holding Cole in their arms, as that's all happening, and the screeching roar of this being kind of rolls out. The creatures, the living dead, start to react to that. And they now start to seem to move towards all of you, both you, Isadora, and Cecil, who are together. Mint, even though you're kind of still moving and gyrating, they're starting to sense you and not and sense you and not clocking that you are not one of them.
Eli?
Yes.
I'm going to use one of my edges, which is logical. You realize an effective way to dispose of the threat? What is the effective way of disposing the threat?
What is the threat that you're clocking? Is it the creature itself, or is it the beings that are coming towards you?
You tell me.
Well, both of them are threats.
Damn it, I was
No, you have to tell them.
I'm asking you what you are
I thought I
doing.
could be slick enough.
No, I want what you're putting your
Can't
priority.
just Uno reverse that shit.
Actually,
What do you think instead?
Actually,
Because I mean, if you want me to pick, I will pick the greater evil. In my opinion.
no, you're. It's like you're right. Okay. Fudge. Okay. Yes, the greater evil. Always the greater evil.
The greater evil would be all of the creatures around you, because there's just so many of them and they're so close to you and they're starting to grab at you, as you're trying to push them away. In the first instances, that they can they're just one track minded, but you kind of start shoving, but 1 becomes 2 and 2 becomes 4. 4 becomes 6.
Am I allowed to do? Well, I have a second edge that I can use.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and use rational, where it's you realize how to save yourself by sacrificing someone else. Pick the person you utilize to escape the threat. And Cecil's near me, so I'm going to sacrifice Cecil.
Oh my god!
How do you intend to do
He's
that?
got his soul back.
Not for long, bitch.
I apologize, but that bone knife, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to aim for the bottom spine so I can at least get out of the way. So leave him behind.
Okay.
Bottom spine of Cecil?
With that, I want you to engage in combat. Cecil, I want you to avoid harm, because Isadora is near you enough that, and you're assessing the threat yourself as well. So you wouldn't just let somebody knife you like that.
I definitely wouldn't, because I still have 1 sixth sense, which allows me to act before somebody does something to me. So I'm not going to avoid harm. I'm going to shoot at the doctor. I'm going to engage in combat.
That's
Good.
awesome. Good.
Then we will contest.
Do I get to roll for
man.
another 10 for the birthday gift?
You.
Not a Mayday game.
Not yet. No, that's fair. That's fair.
Tried to fucking
Contest-
kill
it's
each
okay.
other in the last second.
No.
Contest.
that tracks,
Do the first contestment with me, Amanda.
Absolutely.
And then you will get an additional attack on that, depending on how this goes.
Sorry, buddy. It's just like I had to.
No.
Inter-party conflict during the BBEG fight? It's a
Why not?
Mayday standard, bitch.
Why not?
I just didn't see it coming in this party. We actually kind of liked each other this time.
We did all
I
right.
like 3 of
Yeah.
you.
It's not over till it's over.
I liked
How are we
most.
feeling, Cecil? What was your roll
14, which means that I do succeed, but at a cost.
at a cost? Isadora, what did you roll?
It was, and I'm so sorry. It was engage combat, right?
Yes, roll plus violence.
That's what I wanted to know. Which one it was? Oh, you lucky mofo! I'm at a negative, so I'm at an 11. But I still get something.
You both inflict damage, but at a cost to each other.
Yes.
You just
Things are gonna get closer to you, dumbasses.
It's gonna be fine.
It's the 3 artists.
Cute. I feel like well,
Cecil, Isadora, you assessing the situation, realizing that all of these threats are coming at you at once, and the safest way is to retreat and to reassess and then come back with a solution. But sometimes retreating requires sacrifice, and you see Cecil there, and you take the opportunity to pull the knife on him and go to knife him. And Cecil, as you are trying to push those people away, trying to find at least an exit where you guys can both escape together, thinking that you guys are doing together, you get that tingling in the back of your mind that something's not right. And as you turn around, Isadora goes and cuts across you and does inflict harm to you, so you will take another harm. But in the process of that, since you're still holding the gun and are just reacting, you immediately shoot them. in straight into their shoulder, just point blank without hesitation. So Isadora, you also take a thing of harm. All the while, these beings now are slowly starting to reach out to you and grab onto you and pulling you all together, as now you've in the wasting time in attacking each other has left little room for you guys to leave this situation. As the living dead start to creep closer and closer to you.
You've damned us all, you fool.
Isadora, you got that additional roll. What would you like to do that while you're in this situation? You hold your shoulder, leaking blood all over your nice outfit.
Who said I wanted to leave? And I'm going to go ahead. Because what you did, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and let the demons behind me, are they really pulling at me, or are they?
Well, they're grabbing on you. It's the corpses.
Oh, we're good. I'm going to go ahead for Cecil again.
You're going to stab Cecil again?
Oh my God.
I'm going for it again. Yep. There's a reason.
Okay, roll that engage in combat. Your birthday roll.
I have to say, there's something poetic about stabbing Sergio with a bone knife. There's something there.
Yeah, but
do I have to
Oh shit.
roll something?
Let's see how this goes first, and then I'll give you a roll because you're still here.
I got a 16.
Pretty good.
Well, the bone knife is driving 40 miles per hour, so there's a lethality score.
because she rolled a 16, she avoids counterattacks. So you're not able. You can fire your gun, but it's not going to do anything to them.
I don't know if I want to counterattack. I would like to try to avoid harm, but I realize it's going to be tough. I think I'm going to do it anyway. I've got nothing left.
All right.
So I'm going to avoid harm.
First, take another bout of harm, because Isadora does plunge her knife into you as you're fighting off the rest of them. She does it again just for good measure.
I got shot. Is that because that was like 2 points, correct? Because it's like, because I just slashed him compared to getting popped.
No, because you both rolled into 10 to 14, so you guys aren't dealing as much damage as you might have. So you're injured, your shoulder's been shot through with the gun, but it's not enough to kill each other.
Well, I guess would I be avoiding harm, or would I be enduring injury? Because it sounds like I'm taking the damage no matter what.
Yes, endure. You'll have to. Sorry. The avoid harm is just for you to get out of the situation, but first endure that injury just to see how serious it can be.
Okay, that's 14. That's 15.
15.
Nice.
You ride out the pain and keep going.
Okay. So yeah, you've been stabbed twice, but it's okay.
I mean, what I want to do is like use their momentum and like throw them into the crowd of zombies. I guess I'm kind of engaging in combat.
Yeah, it would be
act under pressure.
Could be act under pressure.
I'll take that.
Okay, act under pressure. Isadora, what are you trying to do? Because, these other beings are still grabbing onto you, even though you've pulled out Cecil. Anything you're trying to do?
Isadora is kind of like, she's not looking at you with any kind of warmth or anything like that. It's just, she's like, the biggest thing, she's like, we have to prove we're worthy. That's where she's just going. She's obsessing. She's gonna be worth. She's looking at the big ass creature with a lot of awe, and she wants to be proven worthy. So she's gonna be like, she's seeing at you like as a piece of meat to like as a sacrifice. Just heads up. That's what she's doing. She wants to keep going for him.
Okay. So you're still trying to harm Cecil? Is that what I'm getting at?
That's it.
Is your intentions to keep both you and him here in this situation?
That's all. I want to keep him here as long as possible. I don't want him to leave. I don't want anyone to leave. I'm probably going to get killed really soon because I'm already like injured.
I mean, I've already rolled an act under pressure. I'm getting a little confused as to what rolls are affecting what.
Hold on. Both of you are rolling an act under pressure as you're trying to escape this situation, Cecil. Meanwhile, Isadora is trying to keep you here in this situation. Yes. Depending on how this goes out, depends on how much more this situation continues as these living dead are going. You were able to scathe off the initial stabbings. You've been stabbed, but like it's not affecting your ability to keep moving forward. But Isadora seems preoccupied with keeping you presently here. So let's roll those act under pressures to see how we move forward.
Come on, Serge. One good roll. One good roll this whole game. Come on.
So, act under pressure is with coolness. I have a +2 to my coolness. 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's a 13, and I'm going to use my final edge to make it 15.
Beautiful. Isadora.
Yes.
I don't
Save that soul, baby.
Isadora, what is it?
I don't want to say because no one will believe me. I don't want to say it now.
What is it?
I mean,
It's
you
a
have
16.
to.
It's a 16.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
I can show it. I swear to God, I don't even want to. I
believe
want
ya.
to lose. I know. I want to lose. God damn it.
You stabbed him twice.
You both do.
There's
Well, that's the thing.
reasons.
Both do what you intended. So I will say that. I will say that in your guys' this weird pursuit and follow as Isadora keeps like you were trying to escape, Isadora keeps swinging at you, but you still are trying to get out of it. So you both managed to get out of the living dead area, but now it's just both of you by yourselves. Now the biggest threat is no longer the mob of the living dead around you, but each other. As you guys are now out of it, and you're heading towards the stairwell leading upstairs to the top second floor of the gallery. But Isadora's got that knife on you, Cecil, as you are trying to get away. Let's go somewhere else for a second. Cole and Hugh, what are you doing? You are actively engaging with this creature. Hugh delivered an insane amount of damage, and it seems that this being is holding on despite everything that's going on, but has Cole high up above them in their arms. Cole, first, what would you like to try to do?
Am I at like eye level with it, or am I above eye level?
You're slightly above eye level with it. You were at one point, but as soon as Hugh slammed into it, it raised you up above it because it was keeping you out of the way.
I would like to use inner power, and I wanna like almost supernova my fists into just like watercolor yellow into its eyes.
Okay. Roll that.
Oh, damn.
Ten. This is the first time I've tried to like actively use it, so I think Cole doesn't entirely grasp how to push the feeling out of them, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's not as strong as they're imagining like some kind of like superhero supernova bullshit, and it's like it's not that.
I would say that you manage to get out of its grip, and you end up falling down onto its backside, and you kind of like clamor to like grab on to it, and still more concerned with the mortal wounds and the engagement by Hugh as its eye arm with all that weight is just still holding on to him. You try to use your inner power, and you expected that bombing explosion that you did in the hallway, but it ends up being more of like when you put watercolor onto paper, as it starts to absorb into the skin, as the skin starts to become tinted with and saturated by watercolor. It's doing something, but it's not enough to like really affect it. But you're seeing how it, what paper starts to get weak when it gets saturated like that. So it's doing something, but not enough to stop it in its tracks. Not enough to really do anything more than make him look a little bit prettier than what he has been. Hugh, with that, what are you trying to do? Cole has fallen onto its back. You're not even aware of the fray in which is happening with everybody else, as those living corpses are now moving and slowly targeting in, and you can notice that they're starting to close in below this creature and towards you guys, but you have enough time to act still, given how well you rolled previously.
So originally Hugh was really worried about getting to Cole and releasing them from the grip of this thing, but now seeing that they cleared, I think Hugh just goes back into the mode of making sure this thing has no ability to stop the rest of them. And so he's going to move forward. So rather than being a few paces behind Cole, he wants to be the main focus of this thing. And I mean, he's going to take another swing at this thing.
Swing.
He's going to do so with that inner power, though. So.
Beautiful.
Okay, and I have a 15, which, Lev, do you know if a 15 is in the highest caliber? I'm not looking at the advantage right now. Okay, cool. So then it takes 2 more harm.
It takes 2 more harm.
As I think he leaps onto this thing the best he can, like going for its midsection and trying to run his big-eyed hand straight into the abdomen where he had hit it before. He's trying to get inside of this thing the best he can.
Before we do that, Mint, you have been on that dance floor, and that performance you did kind of kept the living corpses from really getting to you, but they're starting to really now know that you don't belong to this, and they're starting to close in. Is there anything you're trying to do outside of escape these beings to help assist?
Do I get the impression that my question, like they weren't able to answer it?
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
It was basically how to get out, but it was a specific phrasing.
I mean, you just asked the monster, really.
Yeah, but it's
through your snake charmer, right?
Yes.
Okay, I would say I don't think I believe I answered the question, because I don't think they'll be able to actually verbally give you a response, but I'll give you something that you can utilize to get out of here. You do notice that while this creature was creating and building a sigil, it did not. It's not completed, which means that whatever it was attempting to do is not finished yet. Therefore, there's not a power here for them. There's not a continued source. Whatever source of their power is coming from their own self, as well as the right behind them. You notice the 8 paintings and the triptych.
Okay.
Right.
As you remember when you were earlier in the studio villa, remembered that there was power that was attached to the half-made canvases and stuff, as if that queen put power into these things. So you know that maybe the way out is through its source.
I don't think
and disrupting it.
I don't think Mint stops dancing. I think they still have the lighter that the doctor gave to them earlier. And they have taken to using the doll as a torch, igniting it and just dancing along the walls. And almost like painting with this like flaming doll.
Oh, God.
And just starts hitting, just wallflowering the rest of the gallery. And it's dancing until they get too close, then it's sprinting, and then it's back to dancing. But they're mindful of the undead.
You know what my favorite thing about this situation is the question that Eli just answered for us. We planned before we came in this fucking room, and they got so frazzled that we completely forgot everything we were doing in here.
That's very
As soon as Eli's like, the paintings, dumbass, I'm like, oh shit, we knew that.
We're in the paintings. I start dancing.
Yeah.
I'm so
Roll
yeah,
an act
we got
under
there.
pressure to see how well you can navigate past this living dead without them getting involved, and how far you get to burning these paintings.
Okay. Act under pressure, you said.
Yes.
I'm very, very cool. I have no modifiers for cool. That's a 10.
That's not very cool.
It's not
That's
cool.
it's not a fail
A
though.
little warm.
It's not
That's
not
me.
cool.
It's tepid.
Yeah.
Cool. I swear, Eli gives me more stress than you, Sergio. Like they just math.
You do that dance. You get through it fast enough, but once you get towards the other side, and the moment you ignite the doll is when those living beings start to actually react to it, and they start to reach and grab onto you. Which, as you're desperately stretching out to try to burn these paintings, you're now being grabbed on by the living corpses, and they're trying to grapple you and subdue you. But you are able to get one of them as it starts to kind of, you see pieces of it starting to, it's not enough to ignite it all the way, but it's enough to start burning the edges. And you're seeing that the canvas has now a protruding hole that's been developed from what you've been able to burn before you are pulled down to where all the rest of these living corpses are, as they're starting to surround you. Meanwhile, as that's happening, Hugh, you go again to release that inner power, and it's starting to spread. After that first go and you releasing it's gone past, it's on your chest, it's starting to spread to your other arms. It's just now like the more you aggravate it, the more you lean on it, the more it just wants to consume you. So it's spreading, but you are able to release again, and this time it's enough to kind of get over where the saturated parts of where coal kind of is leaking their watercolor all over them. That's enough to kind of rip through it, as it kind of severs their entire chest from the upper part of it and the lower part in like a nice, almost clean cut, as if you were to tear paper apart. And it causes this being to collapse and to fall. And as that happens, and as the painting behind where Mint is starting to slow burn across, there's just this odd ripple and rumble of disruption as a pulsation of power seems to kind of emit out. And now, like, even you, Isadora, and Cecil, who have been, like, fighting each other, is, like, I think at this point, maybe Isadora has gotten again to a point where she's, like, close to stabbing you and, like, leaning in on you, Cecil, as you're trying to fight her off, as you guys have not been able to kind of capitalize on your intentions here. But then there's just like a complete burst as the being of was once Alano's body, this creature seems to just fall and tear and break apart. And after that pulse goes out, it kind of just goes completely implosion as everything kind of starts to suck in itself, and as all these living dead seem to kind of be dragged away from all of you, as it kind of just all comes together, disperses out, and now you guys are all in an empty room of this gallery. The patrons that were once there, who their bodies strewn on the floor, starting to dissipate and deteriorate, as this was all, as if it was kind of all a part of a dream.
Okay.
Where'd everyone go?
Are we dead? Did we do it?
I look outside. Oh, no, you said there's a rotunda, right? That we can see the moon before? I look up.
Aren't we just like in total black though? Total darkness?
You're not in complete darkness.
Okay.
You start to like look up to the rotunda, because that's the only visible window you see or know of in this moment. And as you kind of look up, you just notice that like everything that kind of grew and changed in this gallery, like outside of what has already dissipated in front of you, it seems like the building itself is just leaking and just like it's all the illusion is starting to just melt away as that like moon starts to kind of stop, like crack open, and it changes to more of a natural illuminated glow, and everything just seems to return to somewhat of a normal state.
Okay, we all see that.
Does the doctor keep advancing on me?
No. I would have stopped when we got the supernova destruction.
Under different circumstances, maybe if I hadn't talked to Hugh, I'd shoot you right between the eyes. But instead, I'm just going to sue you for stabbing me.
That's growth.
And I just start to get up.
It's not.
I start to get up.
It's not as bad as
And
it sounds.
when you guys think the dust is settled, all of a sudden through the main gallery doors is just like boots to the door, as it seems that like a bunch of what seems to be FBI or SWAT seem to swarm in and seem to just immediately take over the situation, as if they were prepared to take action against something that had happened the moment the illusion was severed here. And as those who are awakened, you kind of recognize that while this seems coincidental, you tend to not really believe totally in coincidences. You're immediately swept up by these officers who kind of put you guys into temporary like squad cars and holdings, roughly interrogating you about everything that has happened, as you guys try to explain, as they try to explain to you that there was a terrorist attack that had occurred and a nerve agent was released into this building, and it caused strange and unusual circumstances and hallucinations and stuff like that, killing several people. But you seem to be some of the remaining survivors of this, and they're trying to get stories straight of whether or not you guys had any intentions or involvement directly by it.
Right.
I try to bypass many questions, saying, "I'm bleeding to death. Can you take me to the hospital?"
Also, Hugh, what's with the eyeball situation with the FBI?
Yeah. What's that?
Yeah,
Are they gaslighting you?
That's why I was like,
your arm's fine.
It was
he
the
has
nerve
eyes
agent.
on his face, and that's where I'm like,
I would say
It's
Hugh
not just
has
my
the
arm anymore. It's
yeah.
that's what I'm
I'd
like.
say Hugh had enough. You're not being arrested per se. They just swept you guys off into into squad cars. I'd say Hugh might have had enough time to just cover himself up if he's choosing not to show this
It's a lot.
to them.
That's a lot.
I think that Hugh is in such a state that he's right now having trouble breathing in both lungs, and it's climbed completely up his chest. I don't think he can physically move much of his body. He's fighting for breath. So I think he's just allowing them to find him however they find him.
Sure.
If there's a way, if I could find him, I will ask him quietly if he wants me to put him out of his misery.
I would say that they would have put you in an ambulance, Hugh. In the meantime, during their interrogation, they seem to be treating you as if you're hurt and not that you are covered in eyeballs. Both the EMS staff as well as those who are interrogating you. They're treating it like it's a part of that you are just a normal average man, and they're just going through their routine questions, not even acknowledging the true state that you are in. And after that, Isadora can kind of show up there eventually, if she wants.
No, it's kind of the
Um,
fact that their reactions like that's suspicious. So that's where I'm like,
It's all part of the game.
I'm
It's
just gonna.
only obvious to us.
If it's a matter of distraction, this is just attention. Mint is here for it. She's not gonna say shit about what actually happened, but if it's a matter of making the law enforcement feel like they're getting more information, if they'll pay more attention to her, then that's exactly what's happening. And if it's Hugh needs a distraction, then she's like, oh my god, they came in and it was crazy, and the clouds of the nerve gas, it was pink, and however long it needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's you tell your side of the story everybody tells their side to the story to the officers who are involved, and eventually after a couple of hours of doing all of that routine stuff, they eventually kind of let you go. Cecil, you can go to the hospital via ambulance if that's where you feel like you need to, as well as you, Hugh, if that's what you feel inclined to do, is go all the way through that. And Mint, you probably after the interrogation probably found the most nearest camera and just start to answer questions, wanting to get all of that attention.
Everything is referenced within the amount of time after her performance. So 30 minutes after my performance is when X happened. 45 minutes after my performance.
Cole, is there anything specific you're doing once you've been released from the police?
Cole hasn't said much to the police, either about their mother's involvement or anything else. And I think they're gonna go find Hugh.
Okay.
Wherever he is.
Hugh's at the ambulance. They're about to roll out, so you have just a couple seconds to say something to him.
Why are you trying to protect me?
What do you mean?
You made Cecil promise you. You know. Why?
I think a lot of things are going to come out about your family in a couple of days, and your inheritance is going to be in some trouble. So I thought you might like some money in your life. And I didn't think I'd have to live long enough to explain what I was doing. Listen.
Sucks for you.
we grow up and we have these questions about life, and we think that they all need to be answered, and we think it's human to look for those answers. We think it's human to want to solve everything that happens to us. You, unfortunately, have that affliction about you. I did too. But if I can give you any piece of advice I wish I could give to your mother. While it is human to be curious, and it is human to keep pushing and to want to know, it's also human to find an ending to things. One of the most human things we can do is let things end. And I just want you to have that option to read that book and to understand why I would tell that to anyone to begin with.
Yeah. I'm done with cults. Too many. So, thank you. Can I email you still?
Of course. Sure. I don't know that you're ever going to get an answer, but that wasn't any different when I was alive.
Might just be nice. Yeah. And I'll just kind of... Cole looks like they're going to say something sentimental and nonsensical, and then realizes who they're talking to, and just kind of like pats his leg and gets out of the ambulance.
You drop out of the ambulance, and the EMS immediately closes the door, and it eventually rolls out. And for everybody else, whether you go home via private car or to the hospital or to wherever you think you need to go, as you kind of sit there for the first moment in the last several hours of enduring and understanding the power and the madness behind those artwork, you get that bit of sensation on the back of your neck, that endooming fear, that lingering death that seems to have touched and brushed up against you. And though you stop this from happening, you haven't ended their presence here amongst you. And you'll carry that on as you end. And I think that's a great place for us to end our run-through of the Atrocity Exhibition.
Wow.
How the hell we survived that shit?
Truly.
Yeah.
Animals.
Look at us, mostly.
Clearly.
Just
By
makes
luck.
me want to keep telling the story.
And it's like nobody died. We gotta go till we
Nobody
die.
died. You can keep
Someone's
going.
gotta die.
Hey, I fucking
Yeah.
died.
Yeah.
You think he makes it more than a couple days after that?
Yeah,
I
he's just a
was-
pile
that's
of
what-
eyeballs at this point.
That's where I was like,
Yeah.
do you want me to just slit your throat and put you out of your misery? Like a...
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's a little note in my jacket pocket for Doctor.
That's what I was trying... I knew it! I knew it, damn it.
I will say that you guys would know that the exhibition pieces are intact and are okay and back in their
Damn it.
usual
Damn it.
seats. At the
Somebody
end
go
of this, the news will talk about that this was an act of terrorism disguised to affect both the art center itself as well as the affluent members who were supposed to be in attendance, and that's about it as it's left at that. The paintings once again return to wherever collectors they said they were going, including Nassar Brahim, who also managed to survive this, as well as William Reeves, who also made it out.
Was there anything weird or wild that we missed?
Yes.
Weird, and I mean, there was a lot of stuff that we didn't
Did Mary
get
survive?
into.
The ball, yeah.
I would say Mary did survive, but deeply impacted by the situation. I think it causes initial rifts for you, Cecil, as this was Mary's awakening, as now she is aware of what's beyond this illusion. But who knows how that will pan out for you. But that's about it. This was a written module from Helmgast, who are the creators of KULT Divinity Lost. If you like what you saw here, want to see how far the Inferno and Elysium goes, please go to KULTRPG.com, where you will be able to get access to the core books, as well as several other modules that are written by them. If you also liked us here at Mayday and want to see more of the drama and the intrigue that we provide, be sure to check out us at our other stuff on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, such things as our Doomed to Repeat series, Vegas by Night, which is our Vampire the Masquerade campaign, and our upcoming return to Orpheus as we continue on with Crucible 12 in the coming August. So please check out our social medias when we start dropping those intentions and those dates. We'd like to thank Red Moon Roleplaying for their contributions to this, the creation of this actual play. They've been able to help us get some of the wonderful art and images that you've seen throughout this actual play, as well as supporting the overall creation of it. So thank you, Red Moon Roleplaying, for your contributions. And
thank you, Eli, for running a fantastic game.
Thank you, Eli. Jesus.
Yes.
You did a great job.
There we go. We can see it now.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you guys for joining us here tonight, and we hope to see you all soon. Good night.
Bye, guys.
Good night.
Bye, guys.